everybody, from Baltimore, Maryland, where CBS Radio Sports pleased to present this final game of the 1979 World Series. I'm Vin Scully, along with Sparky Anderson, and we'll be right back right after this word.
Ought to be at the Delta 88.
It's in great shape.
Now that's a trunk. 6 sleeping bags, 2 tents, a gas stove, and 25 pounds of dog food.
It's our American family car.
Can I sit next to Ralph?
New old Delta 88.
Daddy, we gonna have to stop for anything?
It's in great shape.
Next stop, Saratoga Lake.
Yay!
America, our family car is in great shape. The new 1980 Oldsmobile Delta 88 is lean, slim, and trim. Outside, Delta 88 has a new aerodynamic design. Inside, Delta 88 offers 6-passenger room with Oldsmobile comfort and luxury.
It's in great shape. New old Delta 88.
We here already?
Yep.
Hey, that was fun.
We've had one best for you.
For the American family.
Here at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, moments away from the first pitch of the 7th and deciding game of the 79 World Series, the President of the United States, Jimmy Carter, entered about 20 minutes ago. Dr. Milton Eisenhower threw out the first ball, and now the umpires are going over to have the privilege of shaking the President's hand. Meanwhile, walking in quietly from the left field bullpen, 25-year-old Scott McGregor. And his opponent still heating up in the Pirate bullpen, big Jim Bibby, who will be 35. All the numbers in the world don't mean anything now. We've come to the final game. And Sparky, I guess no matter how many years you're in the game, no matter how many thrills, when it comes to the 7th game of the World Series, that's it for everybody in the game.
Well, Vinny, that's what it's all about. And if you don't get nervous now, you'll never get nervous. I know I'm very nervous. I had the feeling when they were going out, Tanner and Weaver, how would I be feeling? I know that I'd be nervous. I know my legs would be bothering me. It's hard to run that far when you're, that concerned about it. But it's like you're told when you're a young kid that anything that's worthwhile, you have to earn it, and it's hard work.
And they have earned it. And the Baltimore Orioles taking the field and getting an ovation from this huge crowd. And, of course, when you think of all of us tried to play this game one way or another from the time you really grow up in this country, and then to think of the 18 privileged men out of the entire United States of America, the starting 18 in the final game of a World Series, it's really something.
Only thing I can say to the young children out there listening, Ben, if they ever want the greatest thrill of their lifetime and something that nobody can ever take away from them, this is what it's all about.
And it's butterfly time right now. Left-hander Scott McGregor tuning up to his battery mate Rick Dempsey. Eddie Murray is at first. Rich Dauer at second. Kiko Garcia, the shortstop. Doug DeCinces at third. In left field, John Lowenstein. In center, Al Bumbry. And in right, Kenny Singleton. Scott Houston McGregor, 25 years old, born in Inglewood, California, lives in El Segundo. And in his wildest dreams, I don't think he could see himself pitching in this game, and particularly not so far ago, just back in spring training. He had tendonitis in his left elbow. He didn't win a game for the first 2 months, but when he got squared away, he was incredible. And his key is control. He averaged only 1 walk a game this year in the American League. And just to show off his wares in fine style against Pittsburgh, he made 96 pitches. He beat them. He made 78 strikes, and he didn't walk a batter. But that was the game interrupted by rain. We'll never really know about that one. We do know that the Pirates jumped off to a 3-0 lead against Scotty, and then the rains came, and Candelaria was gone, and then Baltimore went on to win it 8-4. But as an opponent of McGregor, let's go over his stuff, Sparky.
Well, he's a hittable pitcher, and that's the only thing that I'm concerned, as you were saying, the 278 strikes. Pittsburgh, sometimes you shouldn't throw them strikes. They're hacking all the time. They'll chase a lot of bad stuff. If Scotty can get through the first 3 innings tonight without them hurting him, then I believe that Pittsburgh will be in some trouble.
For the the Pittsburgh Pirates, they have done it all throughout the series. They came off the bench swinging. They have piled up 71 hits in the 6 games. So you don't have to be much of a mathematician to figure out they have almost averaged 12 hits a game. Last night, the first time around against Jim Palmer, they were first ball hitting. We'll see what they do now with Scott McGregor. DeCinces in on the grass. The first pitch of the game is inside, ball 1, 1-0. Omar Moreno hitting .286. He had 2 doubles against McGregor. Scott back with a breaking ball low, ball 2, 2-0. Is he sneaky fast, Spark?
He's sneaky, but he's not overpowering. He's what we call a hittable pitcher, then.
You get a comfortable collar. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Fastball on the inside corner for a strike. Jerry Newdecker of the American League behind the plate. Bob Engel, who called a balk against McGregor the last time Scott pitched. He's at first. Russ Getz of the American League at second. Terry Tata of the National League at third. Jim McKeon down the left field line. Paul Runge down the right field line. And a shot up the middle, a clean single to center.
You know, Ben, it's almost unreal the way the Pirates are hitting now. Ever since they won that 5th game, they look like they just said, we're just going to command the ball game.
Omar Moreno with a line single. And now the question is, with Tim Foli, and remember that balk, and I'm sure McGregor does. McGregor balked with Moreno aboard. And now Eddie Murray is going to the mound to talk to Scott. They play a lot of hit and run. Last night, you expected Moreno to go in the first or second pitch. What about against the left-hander, and what about McGregor's move?
I tell you, they got me a little confused here. McGregor's got a super move. He's going to hold up there. I do believe, though, that Pittsburgh is going to start out immediately and show they'll run. And
McGregor, as you pointed out, will be making that move to first under the eyes of a National League umpire. There's a throw to first. Moreno back to the bag. And it would appear that National League umpires are stringent when it comes to applying that balk rule.
They're much stricter.
McGregor ready and delivers, and Foley has a look. And it's low, ball 1, 1-0. The temperature at game time, a balmy 65 degrees. So it's a beauty. And despite all the cold and the rain and even the snow flurries, we're ending on a high note. The 1-0 pitch, Moreno diving back to the bag. He was slow in reacting, and McGregor threw slowly. Had McGregor zipped that ball, I think he might have picked him off.
Yeah, that's his good move, but he didn't throw over there quick enough. It was funny. He gave him his great move with his leg, but then he didn't explode with his arm.
One of the biggest surprises of the series, of course, the fact that the Bucks, stealers of 188 bases, are 0 for 4 in the series. The 1-0 pitch to Foley. He backs off, and it's inside, ball 2. McGregor throws his hands in the air as if to say to Newdecker, what do I have to do to get a strike? 2-0, so Foley has a look at Joe Lynette. This is certainly a playable count. 2 balls and no strikes in this combination.
Well, I'll tell you, if Newdecker does miss a pitch, Earl's voice will be gone by the 3rd inning.
Here's the 2-0 pitch. McGregor eyeballing Moreno, just staring at him, just frozen as they lock horns. McGregor still just looking at Moreno, then at the plate, staring some more. Now he comes to the plate for a strike, and Moreno was running back to the bag.
Yeah, but I don't understand Foley. Why would Foley stay in there and allow him to do that to Moreno? He's got to get right out of there and give Moreno a chance to start all over.
And Moreno, as we said, we've had the feeling he's been somewhat intimidated, was running back to the bag on the pitch of the plate. 2-1 to Tim Foley. McGregor just staring at Moreno. Now he goes over there, and Omar diving back to the bag. Foley hitting .346. He's been busy with a double and a triple. He has scored 6 runs, and Moreno off the bag over to talk to Al Monchak, the first base coach.
I wouldn't be surprised to see McGregor come right to the plate immediately now. Just look up and come right there.
Scott looks at him, and here he comes, and there's a bunt. Down to get it is McGregor, and they're playing it close to the vest, playing sacrifice on the second hitter.
Well, I think Charlie realized that there was no way Moreno was going to be able to steal on him because McGregor just had him in sights the whole way, so he just decided we'll try to get one early.
And he wouldn't risk hit and run.
No, he didn't want to risk it there.
So Moreno at second base, 1 out, and now the batter is Dave Parker. Big Parker in the series hitting .400 with 4 runs batted in. He has 3 doubles. On deck, Bill Robinson. So a right-hander looks at Parker, backed up by Stargell. The left-hander gets Parker, and then the right hand hitting Bill Robinson. Dauer is deep on the rim at second base. Murray is deep. DeCinces, of course, has to be aware of that area between himself and the third base foul line. Parker goes that way a lot. McGregor looks back at Moreno, checks him, and comes to the plate, and it's popped up. It'll be Doug DeCinces coming into the mound. The third baseman right there to handle it. 2 out.
It's a big inning, Ben, for McGregor. If he can get out of this inning without them scoring, give Baltimore a chance to get up, maybe put a point or two on the board, it could change this thing for him.
So Scott McGregor pitching now to Bill Robinson with Omar Moreno at second base. 2 out in the first inning, no score. Robbie hitting .267, alternating with John Milner in left field. He has a double and 1 RBI, right-hand batter. So Scott McGregor has 2 out, a runner at second in the first inning. The left-hander at the belt, looks at Moreno. Now Scott to the plate, fastball low. Ball 1, 1-0. The outfield on Robinson, deep and around the left. Singleton gives him all of right field. 1-0 the count. McGregor nods yes, now at the belt. Scott taking plenty of time eyeballing Moreno. The 1-0 pitch, fastball, foul back to the screen, and the count 1-1.
You better not get up there, because if he gets up there with Robinson, he's going to get hurt.
The biggest decision so far tonight was the 2-ball, no-strike count to Foley. They did not put a play on. Remember, he took the strike to make it 2-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Bill Robinson. McGregor delivers low. Ball 2, 2-1. Which surprised me, Sparky. Not second-guessing Chuck, but first-guessing. He's on the attack all year. Here he is in the 7th game of the World Series, 2-0 with Foley. Moreno at first, and he doesn't attack.
I'll be honest, I thought they would attack just to prove to them that they were coming after him immediately.
2-1 to Bill Robinson. McGregor again ready. Looks at Moreno. And the 2-1 pitch to Robbie is fouled away off to the right, out of play, and the count 2-2. So Scott McGregor, who was the Yankees' #1 selection back in 1972. In fact, he went to spring training with the Yankees for 4 years. But he got away, and here he is pitching the big one. And now Rick Dempsey, who likes to go out to the mound, asking for time, and he'll visit with McGregor.
He's going to make sure here, Ben, that they throw the pitch that he wants to throw, and he wants to make sure that McGregor believes that that's what pitch he wants to throw.
McGregor with the best control of just about anybody in the big leagues. That's remarkable. 1 walk per 9 innings, and a young left-hander. It just doesn't seem to go together.
Well, that's great, but every once in a while, those great control pitchers get in trouble throwing too many strikes.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Bill Robinson. Moreno taking his lead at second with 2 out in the first inning. McGregor at the belt, staring at Moreno. Works Robbie, and it's popped up. Doug DeCinces coming down the line. He's halfway to home. He makes the catch to the out. So the Pirates leave Moreno, and at the end of half an inning, Pirates nothing. Baltimore coming up.
When you say bud, you say a lot of things nobody else can say. When you say bud, you tell the world you know what makes it all the way. When you say bud, you say you care enough to only want the king of beers. There is no other one. There's only something less, because the king of beers is leading all the rest. When you say Budweiser, you said it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
This broadcast presented by authority of Major League Baseball intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Let's take a look at the Pirates now. Big Jim Bibby, 6'5", 250 pounds. He'll be 35 years old on the 29th of October. A rookie catcher, Steve Nicosia behind the plate. An infield of Willie Stargell at first. Phil Garner, who has had an absolutely magnificent series, at second. Tim Foli at short. Bill Madlock at third. In the outfield, Bill Robinson in left. Omar Moreno is in center, and Dave Parker is in right. Bibby is a big man, and this will be his second time around in the big leagues. He was involved in Game 4, went 6 1/3 innings, allowed 2 earned runs, and had no decision. Since he pitched in the American League, he has quite a few decisions against Baltimore, 5 and 7, while pitching for Texas and Cleveland, but needless to say, none of those numbers apply here. Al Bumbry to start it off, then Kiko Garcia and Ken Singleton. Any book on Bibby?
No, the only thing about Bibby, if he's throwing good, he's going to be tough. If he don't have that good fastball, I don't believe he'll be here too quick.
And, of course, the Pirates will have somebody up just as Baltimore will immediately, any sign of distress. You don't have to rest anybody anytime anymore. Bibby into the windup, and the pitch to Al Bumbry. Fastball in there for a strike. Bumbry with 3 singles and 1 RBI. The left-hand hitting center fielder batting 167. Madlock plays him in on the grass. Stargell is wide, but about even with the bag at first. Bumbry looks at another strike. Pretty good stuff on the inside corner.
Yeah, he's throwing real good, so that should really help tonight because he's throwing extremely well.
0-2 the count to Al Bumbry. On deck, Kiko Garcia. Bibby into the windup. The strike 2 pitch. Fastball foul back to the screen. Bumbry, in his 18 at-bat in the World Series, has struck out only once. Bibby has him 0-2. Garcia had 2 hits against Bibby the last time they met. Singleton had 3. Here's the strike 2 pitch to Bumbry. Fastball fouled away. Up and away, and he just poked it off to the left upstairs. No balls, 2 strikes. To refresh your memory in your mind's eye, 309 down the line. Falling away, 378, all the way to 405 in straightaway center. And 65 degrees, so the ball ought to travel a little bit tonight. 0-2 to Al Bumbry. Bibby ready, delivers. Breaking ball rolls slowly up along first base. Stargell picks it up and tries to tag the sliding Bumbry, at the same time stepping on the bag. I'm surprised he even went after it.
He gave him a double. He stepped on the bag and then probably gave him a little tag.
He's still only out 1, and that'll bring up Kiko Garcia. Garcia hitting .412 with 6 runs batted in. And I guess when you realize that Baltimore has been struggling for hits and runs, it is not a surprise that Garcia is playing this all-important game and Belanger is sitting down. Bibby into the windup, and the pitch to Garcia. Fastball fouled away, off to the right, out of play.
Since they have to get a little offense in there, they just haven't hit at all the last 2 ball games.
The Baltimore team batting average is .246. And the Pittsburgh team batting average is .330. That's a tremendous giveaway. That's 84 points between the 2 clubs. 0-1 the count to Kiko Garcia. Kenny Singleton on deck. Bibby ready. Here he comes. Fastball. Ground ball down to Garner. He picks it up easily. And I'll tell you what, Garcia's a fastball hitter, but he barely got the bat around on that.
Bibby's throwing real hard, Ben, and this is the thing that's going to really help them tonight. If he's throwing this good, he's going to go a good 5-6 ball.
With 2 down, here is Ken Singleton. He had 3 hits against Bibby in Game 4, and Singleton hitting .400. He has the most hits of the Orioles with 10. Good for 11 total bases, but only 2 runs batted in. And with he and Eddie Murray, each with only 2 RBIs, the Baltimore attack has struggled. Bibby into the windup, and the pitch to Singleton. Fastball on the inside corner at the knees, and he's humming it.
Hard fastball. That's what you call leaving home and saying, I'm going to play hardball.
0-1 the count to Ken Singleton. Bibby hands it aside, nodding yes. Now into the windup, and the strike one pitch to Singleton. Fastball swung on and missed. That was not the high Hartman. It was the low Hartman. He's going hard down around the knees. 0-2 to Ken Singleton. 2 down, bottom of the first inning, no score. The pregame tension is gone by now. Both clubs getting their feet wet, and we're in it to stay. Singleton with Eddie Murray on deck. Bibby nodding yes. Nicosia setting a target behind the plate. And the strike 2 pitch to Ken Singleton. Breaking ball hit down to Stargell. Willie has it, underhands to Bibby coming over, and that's it. The Orioles are gone, and at the end of an inning, no score.
Excuse me, miss. Would you please read this can?
Sure. Cam 2 mileage motor oil.
And below that?
Saves money, increases gasoline mileage by more efficiently reducing engine friction.
And the color of the can?
Well, it's gray with red letters. Mileage is spelled in red. Not my favorite, but pretty good.
Why do you think Cam 2 called it mileage?
Get you better gas mileage?
Well, what would you consider better gas mileage?
Oh, I have no idea.
Well, Cam 2 mileage motor oil gives you an average of 14 miles more per tank than ordinary oil. Up to 30 more in some cars. That's up to 30 more.
That sounds good.
Well, it saves you money. Enough for your next Cam 2 mileage motor oil change. Pretty smart oil idea for today's driving, huh?
Yeah, sounds like it.
Would you change to it?
If I had a car. But I'll tell my dad about it. He changes his own oil.
And the can once more.
Cam 2 mileage motor oil. Gray can, mileage in red. Bet a man pick the colors.
Change to Cam 2 mileage, the motor oil named for what it gives you. Better mileage. It doesn't just save you gas, it saves you money and can save your engine. It's the smart oil for today's driving. Cam 2 mileage motor oil.
Interesting in studying history, and they've done quite a bit, of course, with the World Series. As far as teams winning after trailing 3 games to 1, such as the Pirates found themselves, 2 of the 3 teams that did win the World Series after trailing 3 games to 1 in best of 7 series did so by winning the last 2 games on the road. The 1968 Detroit Tigers who beat St. Louis, the 1958 Yankees who beat Milwaukee, the 1925 Pirates, who also bounced back, won their final 2 at home. But there's another side of the coin, and they have only now come up with it. What about teams winning the 7th game after letting 3 games to 1 lead get away? Well, 3 teams have done that. The 1912 Boston Red Sox, who beat the Giants, the 1967 St. Louis Cardinals, who beat the Red Sox, and the 1972 Oakland A's, who beat the Cincinnati Reds. Second inning, no score. Enough history back to the present, and Stargell takes inside ball 1. A note on Jim Bibby. He made 10 pitches in the first inning, all strikes.
And throwing hard, too.
There's a little looper to left field. That's going to be trouble. That's going to drop. Lowenstein has to come away in and over to get it. Stargell, when Lowenstein overruns the ball, Wilbur takes the extra base and goes into second. It'll be 1-1. A single to left field for Wilbur Stargell. An error charged to John Lowenstein. And so the Bucks, who were closed out in the first inning, leaving a man at second, immediately open up the second inning with a man at second and nobody out. Madlock, Nicosia, and Garner trying to pick him up. The second hit off McGregor, and his first pitch over for a strike, 0-1. For the Orioles, that's the 8th error that they have committed, and that gives us 17 errors in the 6 World Series games plus an inning tonight. The strike 1 pitch to Bill Madlock. Breaking ball, hit to the hole. Over to get it is Garcia. Up with it nicely. The throw, fielded by Murray in time. Good play. And there's a surprise. You would think that Madlock would certainly try to go the other way, Sparky.
I thought so for sure. Bill always does that. With a man on second, nobody out, he's always going to right field, and he's an excellent hitter when he's going to right field.
So Madlock, surprising, and pulls the ball, and of course, as so often happens, he leaves his man at second instead of going the other way and getting him to third. Now you have Steve Nicosia and Phil Garner trying to get Stargell home. No score with 1 out in the second inning. McGregor checking. Rick Dempsey hangs out a couple of signs. Stargell takes a pretty good lead. McGregor watching him. Now Scott comes to his hitter, and it's fouled away off to the right out of play. 0-1. The Pirates, no runs and 2 hits. The Orioles went out in order in the first inning. Jim Bibby and Scott McGregor. Rich Dauer goes to the bag for the moment, just standing there as Nicosia backed out and checked with Joe Lynette. So Stargell, who was pretty lonesome at first, now has Dauer come over and pay him a social call. 0-1 the count. Nicosia hitting .083, right-hand batter, fouls it away, an outside fastball, and he tried to pull it, and the count 0-2. Nicosia is 1 for 12. And I'm sure Chuck Tanner didn't hesitate, however, to put him in there against the left-hander.
No, he uses out against the right-handers and Nicosia against the left-hander. He's not going to change now.
I guess basically that really is the philosophy. This is not the time to change.
Not now. What got you there, and they both got him there, so he'll go with what got him there.
0-2 the count is Steve Nicosia with Phil Garner on deck. 1 out, second inning, no score. McGregor out of a stretch. Another check of Stargell at second. The left-hander comes to the plate, and it's popped in the air. And Doug DeCinces, who's very busy, settling under it, waiting now in foul ground, and picks up his third put-out. Phil Garner coming up, and Dempsey looked over at the Baltimore dugout, and you wonder, would they walk him or would they live by the manager's sword of wanting the pitcher to start off the next inning? Nope, they're going to put him on. Phil Garner has made his point. Garner is hitting .524 with 11 hits, including 3 doubles and 5 runs batted in. As a second baseman, he's been involved in 9 of the 10 Pirate double plays. And the way things are going, he would be the odds-on Pirate to be the most valuable player, but that remains to be seen. They're going to take the bat away from him.
Well, they better take the bat away from him because there's no way they're going to let him hit with 2 out and the pitcher coming up.
So Jim Bibby will be coming up in a moment with runners at first and second. 2 down, no score, top of the second inning. Bibby has 1 home run last year. A big man, and as far as his numbers during the regular year, Bibby had 8 hits, 1 of them a double, 2 home runs, and 5 runs batted in. However, he has struck out a little more than 50% of the time, so I think he's big and strong, and if he hits it, he's got a chance, but better than half the time he doesn't hit it.
You better see a curveball here.
McGregor ready, Scott delivers, fastball, swung on and missed.
It amazes me how they get away with that fastball to the pitcher.
And Bibby had an uppercut swing at it with 2 on and 2 out. 0-1 the count of Big Jim. McGregor checking. Scotty ready and back he comes. Fastball low. 1 ball and 1 strike. So he starts the pitcher off with 2 fastballs.
Boy, anytime that's the only pitch I know that those pitchers can hit, that fastball.
1-1 to Bibby. McGregor checking with Dempsey. Stargell at second. Garner at first. 2 away. No score, second inning. McGregor ready. Here he comes. Another fastball swung on and missed. The only thing was the location. It was way off the plate. 1-2. So he hadn't come close to throwing breaking ball to Big Bibby. McGregor nods out of his stretch. And the 1-2 pitch. Fastball, and it's a ground ball to the right side. Dauer doesn't have Murray. He has to gun it to McGregor in time for the out. Murray had gone after the ball, and it had to be McGregor or nobody.
If he didn't get McGregor there, that run was going to score, Stargell.
No runs, 1 hit, an error, 2 left, and at the end of an inning and a half, no score.
Here are Barsman and McCormick for Quantel Business Computers.
Well, today we're talking to another giant of industry.
That's right.
Tell us about your business, sir.
Well, I'm in the fortune teller supply business. I sell crystal balls, bandanas, flamenco shoes, ox carts.
How do you keep track of all of your inventory?
Lucky for me, I have the Quantel computer.
Oh, yes.
I can control my inventory levels, and it saves me a lot of money.
Oh, yes, and saving money
I know
is
when I'm
very
running out
important.
of, say, make crystal balls. I know when I'm low on bandanas or I have too many ox carts, so that I am able to run a very efficient business.
Well, what are your business projections for the fortune-telling supply marketplace for next year?
Well, according to my Quantel computer, it will be bigger than fine wines from Arkansas. You shake until it turns red, you know.
For more information about Quantel, call toll-free 800-227-1894. In California, 415-783-3410.
Hi there, everyone. I'm Jack Buck, and next Monday night, I'll be in Pittsburgh with Hank Stram. The Steelers will be trying to bounce back from their defeat at the hands of Cincinnati last Sunday, and they'll have a tough customer on their hands, the Denver Broncos. Denver at Pittsburgh next Monday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, here on CBS Radio.
That's the Denver Broncos against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Three Rivers Stadium this Monday night at 9 Eastern Time on most of the CBS Radio network stations.
As we go to the bottom of the second inning, no score in this final game of the World Series, Baltimore and Pittsburgh. You might be interested to know how even the two leagues have been over the last 26 years. Since 1953, would you believe it? Each league has won 13 World Series. Each league has won 82 World Series games over that same span. You know, that's hard to believe.
It's hard to believe that you would have, like you said, play that even over a 26-year span, but the leagues are that even. There's no difference between the two leagues.
And the other note is that in the last 35 World Series, better than half, 19 of them have gone 7 games. So it's becoming almost the rule. Eddie Murray, John Lowenstein, Doug DeCinces. One of the sidebars to the story of the World Series has been the way the Pirates have handled up to Murray up to here.
Well, they've stayed right on him both ways, left and right hand. You got to pitch him tight. You got to stay up and in on him, and they've done a tremendous job. I've never seen the staff pitch him any better.
Great young hitters, hitting only 182 in the series. Bibby into the windup and delivers curveball, foul back, and the count 0-1. Murray has a double, 1 home run. He hit a straight changeup against Bert Blyleven here at Memorial Stadium, and that's really been it. 2 runs batted in. But you always have to qualify it by saying so far. Eddie hitting left-handed, 0-1 the count. The infield playing into full, the outfield very deep. The strike one pitch to Murray. Breaking ball, a little slider on the outside corner, 0-2.
They got his mind confused now. Right now they're throwing him 2 breaking balls in a row, and they haven't tried to get in on him, so they've really got him confused.
0-2 the count to Eddie Murray. Stargell deep at first, Garner almost on the grass. Bibby into the windup, and the strike 2 pitch, breaking ball is outside, a little slider and a little bit off speed to make it 1-2.
Wouldn't surprise me now if he busts right in on him.
But he better get it.
Better get in.
1-2 the count to Eddie Murray. Bibby 6'5", nodding yes, rather imposing figure on the hill. The 1-2 pitch, fastball inside. He got it in, but too far in at the kneecaps. And the count 2-2. Murray have pretty good power going the other way if they try to keep it away from him.
Oh, great power. He's got great power anywhere. Straight away is his best power.
Robinson has given him the left field area. The 2-2 pitch, breaking ball, got him swinging. So Eddie Murray, only his 3rd strikeout in 23 at-bats, but they have thoroughly thrown a blanket over him. 1 away, and now here's John Lowenstein. Lowenstein hitting .273. He has 3 RBIs. He had a key pinch hit double with the bases loaded in Pittsburgh to help turn one around. Bottom of the second inning, 1 out, bases empty, no score. Bibby building into the windup, and the big right-hander's fastball, I tell you, he is smoking it.
He looks just as good as you want somebody out there tonight. I'm sure Charlie's real pleased right now because he knows Bibby's got great stuff.
0-1 to count to Johnny Lowenstein. Back comes Bibby, fastball fouled away, and that one in on the hands, and the count 0-2. On deck, Doug DeCinces. You were talking before about the new expressions, the young ball players at Detroit talking about get a good piece of cheese, and then a blooper that used to be a Texas leaguer is now a flare or a parachute, and now when you throw hard, they say you can bring it.
Yeah, you can bring it.
Well, he's bringing it, and the strike 2 pitch, swung on and foul back. Let's pause 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
Bob and Betty Sanders brighten your midday on News Radio 78, WBBM Chicago.
No balls and 2 strikes to John Lowenstein. 1 out in the second inning, no score. Bibby concentrating on Steve Nicosia. Lowenstein, left-hand hitter, bat straight up back of the left ear. Strike 2 pitch. Breaking ball got him on a half swing.
Got a super curveball, and his fastball is probably as good tonight as it's been all year.
So Eddie Murray and John Lowenstein strike out, and Doug DeCinces coming up. DeCinces with the magic glove. He hit a home run, his first at-bat in the World Series, remember? But he is hitting only 143, so it's been somewhat of a long day's journey into night for him. DeCinces with only 3 hits. Right-hand hitting third baseman. Bibby checking into the windup. And the first pitch to DeCinces. Fastball hit right up the middle. Solid base hit. So there's hit number 1 for Baltimore. A solid shot up the middle. And the batter now will be Rich Dauer, the second baseman. And check me, make it Rick Dempsey. Dempsey hitting 7 and Dauer 8. Dempsey coming up and then Dauer. No score in the second inning. Dempsey waiting. Rick hitting .333. Bibby ready, delivers. Fastball low, ball 1. 2 out, bottom of the second, no score. Dempsey with a half a dozen hits, including 2 doubles, but no runs batted in. Rick, right-hand hitting catcher. DeCinces off the bag, held on by Stargell. Now the 1-0 pitch, fastball on the hands, hit down to Madlock. He short hops it, straightens up, and flips over to Stargell, and that's that. No runs, a hit, a man left, and at the end of 2, no score.
Hi, Pat Summerall to suggest you think of your True Value hardware store as a professional linebacker. The place to get their exclusive professional quality line of Master Mechanic hand tools backed by a customer satisfaction policy. For example, their Master Mechanic 10-piece drill bit set for just $4.99 includes professional quality tool steel bits, sized from 1/16 to 1/4 inch, packed in a sturdy plastic case. Or get the Master Mechanic 1/4 inch drive, 11-piece standard or metric socket set for just $6.99 at True Value hardware stores, including 9 sockets, a spinner adapter, and a fitted plastic toolbox. Master Mechanic hand tools and accessories are backed by a customer satisfaction policy, and they're available only at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers. Save gas. You won't have to drive far for your hardware and houseware needs. If you're looking for values for service and selection, you'll find them nearby at any one of the more than 5,000 True Value hardware stores and home centers. And remember, they're located nationwide. No score in this final game of the 1979 World Series. A game that began in cold and wet, highlighted by errors, a home run, and a 5-run first inning for Baltimore, but has settled into some solid baseball play, and really the quality of the game has improved along with the weather. And to repeat, it was 65 degrees at the start of game time, so to everyone's agreement, this is more like it.
No question, Ben, the weather has really changed the play.
For the Pirates, in the third inning, it'll be Omar Moreno, followed by Tim Foli, and then Dave Parker. And Scott McGregor, who had Moreno at second base with 1 out in the first inning and kept him there, and then had runners at first and second after Stargell reached second base safely, leading off the second. So he has been able to move through 2. The Bucks have left 3. Baltimore leaving 1. Moreno singled up the middle in the first inning. So with 3 hits last night, and he had, remember, 2 hits against McGregor the last time he saw him. He pulls a ball foul to Al Monchak, the coach at first, and the count 0-1. And I would guess Moreno coming off a good game last night, and his confidence has been restored.
I think so, and he's the big key for him. If he gets on those bases, they got a chance to go somewhere.
Moreno had 3 singles last night, plus he lined out to Rich Dauer. The pitch to Moreno, slow hook that's low, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Scott McGregor, a 13-game winner during the regular year. The 1-1 pitch, breaking ball, lifted to right field. Singleton coming up and over, and he's there, 1 away.
I was going to say, Moreno says that he don't care as long as Flanagan don't come out of there no more.
That's the man who gave him the bad time. Here's Tim Foli, who surprised folks quite a bit in his first at-bat. First, he let McGregor freeze Moreno just staring at him, and Tim never backed out to break the spell. Then, with the count 2 balls and no strikes, Foley took the 2-0 pitch, and then to everybody's surprise, he sacrificed. He lifts a fastball foul off to the right of the plate. Dempsey coming over, but it's back in the seats out of play on the count 0-1. 1 down in the third, no score. The Pirates, no runs, 2 hits. Baltimore, no runs, 1 hit, and 1 error.
I know, Vin, talking to the Baltimore people, they seem very confident with McGregor. It's kind of feeling like that McGregor has been the key guy when they've had to win a ball game.
He is the kid, they tell us, who stood up on the Baltimore team bus in the championship series against California and said, "Don't worry, I'm going to win it tomorrow." The strike 1 pitch is hit up the middle. Over to his left is Garcia. Up with it, behind the bag, close him out.
Outstanding play right there. He got a tremendous jump on that ball. I don't know how he got such a good jump.
Kiko Garcia, flashing to his left, makes a big play to take a base hit away from Foley. And now McGregor takes a little walk behind the mound as Dave Parker makes a big walk up to the plate. Parker popped up with a runner at second and 1 out in the first inning.
Yeah, we've been seeing some Major League Baseball, some great plays the last 2-3 games.
McGregor into the windup and delivers a little bit by way of first base outside. Ball 1, 1-0. Dave with the game-winning RBI last night. McGregor comes back to him 1-0, and it's fouled away off to the left out of play.
I'm a little surprised that Baltimore's given such a big gap up in left center. They're playing Bumbry way around the pole, and yet Parker's been hitting mostly everything to left center.
Here comes McGregor 1-1, and it's fouled back 1-2, and that shook up a lot of people because that foul ball landed at the base of the railing in the general vicinity of the President of the United States.
About 3 feet away.
And the Speaker of the House, Tip O'Neill. 1-2 the count. Dave Parker waiting. McGregor into the windup. Big pitch to the big man. Sidearm, half swing, strike 3. To the Pirates, and at the end of 2.5 innings, no score.
The next time you want to do it yourself, be professional. Use a quality, skilled power tool from True Value Hardware Stores. Hi, Pat Summerall to suggest you get the Skilled 7 1/4-inch circular saw. It features a burnout-protected 1 3/4 horsepower motor that'll help you cut through most home do-it-yourself projects, and it adjusts quickly for accurate bevel and miter cuts. Get the Skilled 7 1/4-inch circular saw for just $37.95 at participating True Value Hardware Stores and home centers.
In 5 seconds, the Sony Tape full-color sound test will be broadcast. Please get ready to set your sound system. Red. Brown. Silver. This Sony full-color sound test is brought to you by Sony Audio Tape. It reproduces every shade of color that's in the sound itself. It can actually record more sound than you can hear. Sony Tape, full-color sound.
We're watching. As we go to the bottom of the third inning, feeling very high here in Baltimore. No score. One reason feeling is so high, the fact that Baltimore hitters are so low. They haven't scored in 15 innings. Remember, the run that did come over came in on a double play on Sunday in the 5th inning. And they have only one run in their last 21 innings.
Have a little dry spell going, and the fans are trying to get something going for them.
So it'll be Dauer, followed by McGregor, and then Bumbry. Rich Dauer hitting 8th in the lineup, which is quite a surprise. Bibby ready, delivers. Fastball, hit the deep left field. Back goes Robinson. He's gone.
See where that ball was, Benny? A dead high fastball on the first pitch. And I seen him hit 2 just like that against Detroit. Throwing that high fastball inside, you lose it.
We gave you has the run to lead 1-0. Here's Scott McGregor. Fastball outside, ball 1. It shows you the true art of being a big league pitcher. One pitch, one mistake, and a run. The 1-0 fastball is swung on and missed. And make no mistake about it, Bibby is going hard with great stuff, but he got the fastball up.
No man can throw hard enough for these guys if you make mistakes.
1-1 to count to McGregor. The 4th home run in the series for Baltimore. Fastball is grounded to Foley. Tim is up with it across to Stargell in time. 1 away, but it's Rich Dauer who shakes him up. The home runs for Baltimore in the series: Ayala, DeCinces, Dauer, and Murray. Now Streamer has fallen down on the warning track in right field. So Paul Runge will go down and remove it and time out until it has been removed. 1-0 in favor of Baltimore. So with a kid from Southern California pitching, it's a kid who went to school at the University of Southern California who hits the home run to give him a 1-0 lead. And now here is Al Bumbry. Bumbry, the left-hand hitting center fielder, grounded to Stargell. Al 0 for 1. Bibby checking. Big Jim into the windup. And the right-hander delivers. Fastball high. Bumbry faked a bunt and took it. And they're moving around in the Pirate bullpen. When the Bucks hit in the 4th inning, they have Robinson, Stargell, and Madlock. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way. Good fastball on the inside part of the plate. 1-1.
Looks like Don Robinson warming up out there now.
Don Robinson throwing in the bullpen. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball, but outside. Little slider miss. Ball 2. Good one.
Mention the Baltimore went to their lucky uniform, their orange shirt tonight.
Instead of the all-white home uniform, the Pirates in black pants and gold jerseys. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Fastball popped up. And it'll be Tim Foli, the shortstop, looking up into this Baltimore night, and Timmy makes the catch for the out. 2 down. And Kiko Garcia, who made a good defensive play to get Foley in the 3rd inning. Kiko will be coming up. Garcia grounded out to Phil Garner. 1-0 Baltimore. 3rd inning home run by Rich Dauer. He drilled it into the bleachers in left field. Garcia, right-hand hitting shortstop. Bibby into the windup, over the top fastball, and a half swing foul back to the screen. 0-1. 1 run, 2 hits for Baltimore. They've committed an error. No runs, 2 hits for Pittsburgh. The strike 1 pitch to Kiko. Slider inside, 1-1. So Jim Bibby working on Kiko Garcia. Ken Singleton on deck. Stargell is up a couple of steps near the bag at first. So is Madlock, just in case Garcia tries to lay one down. The 1-1 pitch with 2 out. Garcia hits a shot into right field. Base hit. Single by Kiko Garcia. That would be his 8th hit. And it brings up Ken Singleton. Singleton leads the Birds in base hits. He has 10 of them. And he grounded out Stargell to Bibby covering back in the first inning. So after retiring 5 in a row, giving up a base hit and then getting Dempsey to end it, here in the third, Bibby has given up a home run to Dauer, and now a 2-out single to Garcia. Singleton, who had 3 hits off Bibby the last time they hooked up. Dave Roberts will begin to loosen up now, along with Don Robinson here in the Pirate bullpen. Bibby out of a stretch, and there goes Garcia. It swung on and missed. Nicosia C. Oh, they got him on a great tag by Foley. Foley making a hard tag and got his man on the head going by, and Garcia has a headache because he took a hard tag just on the forehead. 1 run, 2 hits, nobody left. And at the end of 3, Baltimore 1, Pittsburgh 0. Applause in the background for Kiko Garcia, who was shaken up on a hard but legitimate tag by Tim Foli. The one shortstop almost put the lights out on the other. Kiko got one up above the eyebrow.
Yeah, Kiko just didn't get down low enough on his slide, and the ball was thrown into the line towards between first and second there, and no other place to tag it.
Had Foli not taken a hard, quick swipe, he would have had the base stolen for sure. McGregor tuning up. Bill Robinson, Willie Stargell, and Bill Madlock in that order.
They just signed on the board. I see that Earl Weaver was just named Major League Manager of the Year. It's every bit deserving, believe me.
And the crowd chanting, Earl, we want Earl, we want Earl. And apparently they want him to take another bow. He took a brief bow a few moments ago. They want to salute this scrappy manager again. I think Earl feels that 1 is more than enough. So Bill Robinson, who popped up in the first inning, skied one to DeCinces. Robbie will start it off. Scott McGregor comes to him with a pitch swung on and missed 0-1. McGregor turns it over. He's got a great change. And time call. Robinson backs out. On deck, Willie Stargell. Now the strike 1 pitch, chased and missed. Robbie pressing a little bit. Went after a bad ball, 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes to count. Scott McGregor ready and delivers. And the fastball inside. Boy, he's thrown everything now. He gave him a good change and a breaking ball, and now he comes in on the knuckle.
That's what I said. By the 3rd inning, he starts getting his location down real good. Then he's extremely tough.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Bill Robinson leading off the 4th. 1-0 Baltimore. Fastball on the hand. A little pop fly. Dempsey in front of the plate. Has it.
That's one of those times that kind of embarrassed you.
So Bill Robinson swinging from the heel. Hits one about 30 feet in the air in front of the plate. 1 away, and here's Willie Stargell. Stargell hit one inside out, a little slicing fly ball single, and when Lowenstein overran the ball in his haste to pick it up, Willie took second base, but he stayed right there. McGregor into the windup and delivers. Fastball fouled away, 0-1. Boy, he's got great location to go along with that control of his. That makes him almost virtually unbeatable.
And he's thrown a little harder the last 2 games.
Now the strike 1 pitch to Stargell. Fastball on the hands. Another little slicing fly ball. DeCinces chasing it. Can't. dives, falls, and the ball rolls into foul territory, and Stargell has a bloop double to left field.
Willie's tricking him. Willie's hitting them on the fist and on the end and just out of their reach.
DeCinces, like an end going into the end zone, but the ball was behind him, and he was looking over his shoulder. He finally tried to jam on the brakes and fall backwards and at the same time off to his left, but he couldn't quite negotiate it. So a bloop double for Stargell. He's 2 for 2, the oldest expression in baseball. They look like line drives in the box score.
Boy, tomorrow they'll look big. 2 doubles, so they give an error on the left fielder on the first one.
Here's Madlock. Madlock 0 for 1. McGregor ready and delivers. Fastball is hit down towards short. Stargell going to third, and a bad throw by Garcia. Stargell is safe at third. Madlock is safe at first, and a big play. They had Stargell easily.
Had Stargell by a good 10 feet, and he just tried to throw the ball, I think, over him instead of just leading him a little bit on the left side of the left field side of the bag.
So Stargell makes a mistake and gets away with it, trying to go from second to third on a ground ball to the shortstop. But, of course, that is an ample figure on the move when you try to throw to your third baseman. He probably couldn't even find DeCinces with Stargell between them.
No, but the thing there is you throw it on the third base side towards left field, you got him easy. He just tried to lead him too much.
Now, first and third, with 1 out, and the batter is Steve Nicosia. And Nicosia, of course, has not done very much at all with the bat. He has only 1 hit in 13 at-bats. And if ever a hitter was going to be an escape hatch for a pitcher, that's McGregor's thinking about Nicosia. Scott out of a stretch, the left-hander delivers, and the fastball is low. Ball 1, 1-0.
The last 2 ball games, Baltimore's been the club, Vince, that has played actually bad defensive baseball. It's the thing that's really hurt him.
Garcia drawing an error. Madlock aboard on the fielder's choice. 1-0 Baltimore in the 4th. And the 1-0 pitch is instead a throw to first. Madlock back to the bag. He did a lot of base stealing during the season, but the Pirates have not had that part of their game in the series at all. They're still on the outside looking in. 0 for 4 in stolen bases. 1-0 to Nicosia. McGregor checking. The left-hander delivers. Fastball, line drive at Dauer. Back to Murray. Not in time. So Madlock, with the ball hit ahead of him, had a pretty good idea of what was happening. And he beat Dauer's throw back to Murray. And he went back in standing up and just tiptoed in ahead of it. Phil Garner coming up. They were able to pitch around Garner in the 2nd inning. We'll see now about pitching around him here. Would you ever walk a man intentionally with a runner at first?
Would I?
Yeah.
Well, I did it one time, but I'll tell you what, they have to pitch
Wait
to Garner.
Tell me, you walk somebody intentionally with a man at first?
I walked somebody intentionally man at first. I had that big Willie McCovey hitting. And I walked him intensely. Mays started out for second on a wild pitch and came back.
All right, here is Phil Garner, and McGregor ready and delivers. Fastball popped in the air at first base. Murray in foul territory. Now in fair. He and the base runner collide, but the base runner Garner was inside the lane, and he is out. Phil Garner was running in the lane and then went inside the first base foul line. You leave the lane, you're out of there. And Murray, shaken up, hurt his right knee, will get the foot out anyway. No runs, 1 hit, an error, 2 left. And at the end of 3.5, Baltimore 1, Pittsburgh 0.
Arkwright Boston, a most unusual insurance company, wants you to consider this. Americans thrive on risk. It's part of our national character. The people who opened the frontier were risk takers. So were those who put a man on the moon. In fact, risk is so American, people who avoid it are a little suspect. But there is a kind of risk you should avoid. The kind that destroys, not invigorates. Such as fire, flood, explosion. As one of America's largest industrial property insurers, Arkwright Boston is firmly committed to combating catastrophic loss. That's why we reward clients who lower their risk potential with lowered premiums. And why this year alone, in conjunction with the factory mutual system, Arkwright Boston will spend more than $66 million searching for ways to minimize this problem. It seems like a lot of money, but that's a risk we're willing to take. Arkwright Boston. We do it better because we do it right.
1980 is Olympics year. The Winter Games, first played in 1924, takes place this year at Lake Placid. Our CBS Radio sports team, headed by Jim Kelly and Ed Ingalls, will cover all the exciting skate, ski, hockey, and bobsledding events. Then on to Moscow for what may be the most spectacular Summer Olympiad since the first one in 1896. CBS Radio Sports will be there every day, July 19th through August 3rd, for Winter and Summer Olympics. Stay with CBS, your #1 radio network for sports.
Bottom of the fourth inning at Memorial Stadium. Baltimore leading the Pirates 1-0. Wild Bill, the Baltimore taxi cab driver, is on the roof of the Oriole dugout, and he can shake up this crowd like no other. And now Kenny Singleton will climb in with Eddie Murray and Johnny Lowenstein to follow. 1-0 Baltimore. Bibby ready, delivers. Fastball swung on and missed 0-1. The only run came electrifyingly swift. The line drive home run by Rich Dauer, opening up matters in the third inning. And the Pirates have had chances and squandered them. Now the strike one pitch. Bibby's fastball is popped up, and there's your big league pop fly. Foley growing old, and here comes Robinson, and Bill Robinson makes the catch.
That's the kind where neither one of them really want it, but that guy coming in, the outfielder's got a much better look at it.
Now here is Eddie Murray. He is fortunate that he was not seriously hurt. It was a case of one of those things where Garner didn't have anywhere to go. Murray was standing in the lane, and then at the last minute, the ball started to come back into the fair part of the infield. And as Eddie went in, Garner hustling down the line, he went inside, leaving the lane, and you had the collision. And Murray at the plate, 0 for 1. Bibby ready, delivers, fastball fouled away. By the way, 1-0 Baltimore in the fourth. Bibby is due up in the fifth inning. Do you think they'd hit for him?
I think if there's some people on, they'll hit for him.
No, he's leading off.
He's leading off, I mean, Benny. No, I don't think they'll hit for him for one reason, unless they score a runoff in here.
0-1 to Eddie Murray. He struck out in the second. Bibby delivers, breaking ball in the dirt, 1-1. Romo throwing in the bullpen, the reason for the thought. 1 run, 3 hits for Baltimore. They've made 2 errors. No runs, 3 hits for the Pirates. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball in the dirt, down at the left foot. Ball 2, 2-1. Eddie has handled 56 chances at first base without an error. So even though his bat has been pretty quiet, his glove has been as steady as ever. Bibby checking. Eddie Murray waiting. Big Jim cranks up, and the 2-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball on the inside corner, and Murray had to back off and take it, 2-2.
Poor Eddie's not only having trouble, but he's also having great pitches made on him. They're just making outstanding pitches. Now, that's a curveball right on the inside corner.
2-2 to Eddie Murray. Bibby checking. Jim ready, and the 2-2 pitch on the way. Curveball got him swinging. That's the second time he struck him out. Big overhand breaking ball. So Eddie Murray, one of the premier young hitters for Baltimore, has 4 hits in 24 at-bats in the World Series. Remember, he started the game hitting 182. Here is John Lowenstein. He struck out in the second inning. Bibby has 3 strikeouts. Madlock wide and about even with the bag at third. The right side of the infield is deep, especially Garner. The outfield about straight away and fanned out. The pitch to Lowenstein. Fastball in there for a strike. Left-hand hitter had a good look. 0-1. Bibby, Marino, and Foley are due up in the fifth. Don Robinson has gotten up to join Romo. The pitch inside under the elbows, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, they might. They got Robinson up. That kind of makes me think now, Ben, as long as he's up, they might make a change. I didn't think they'd change to Romo.
1-1, the count to John Lowenstein. Of course, Robinson's been complaining of a slight muscle pull in the back. You got all winter to heal.
He might be warming up and let Charlie know.
1-1 to count to Lowenstein. 2 out in the fourth, 1-0 Baltimore. Fastball popped in the air, foul off third. Madlock coming over, has a little room, running out of it, however, and makes the catch right by the tarp roller, and that's it in the fourth inning. Baltimore gone in order, and at the end of 4, the Orioles won, and the Pirates nothing.
Today's man, he lives with today's technology, and he expects today's razor blade to be made sharp, to shave close. So he helps protect his face with today's Rise. Rise is thicker than the leading foam. Rise helps protect your skin against blade irritation. For today's close shave, get today's rich, thick Rise. Helps protect your skin against blade irritation. Get today's thick Rise.
A message from the CBS television network. Harry Truman said it best, the buck stops here. The American presidency has been called the world's toughest job. Covering it's a non-stop challenge. That's why the president doesn't make a move without Robert Pierpoint, Leslie Stahl, and Lee Thornton. CBS News White House team, Washington, or anywhere around the world. Cronkite and Company, only on the CBS Evening News.
Few horse racing fans will want to stay tuned in for the excitement of the Washington, D.C. International Thoroughbred Race on Saturday, November 10. For the third consecutive year, CBS Radio Sports brings you the great event with Win Elliott covering the festivities in color and Ray Haight calling the race at Laurel Racecourse in Maryland. Right here on most of the CBS Radio Network stations for the Washington, D.C. International Thoroughbred Race, November 10. The question has been answered as we go to the fifth inning, and the answer is yes, they will hit the Bibby. As hard as he is throwing, as well as he has been doing, he is trailing 1-0, and Manny Sanguillen could have got the pinch single to right field to beat Don Stanhouse 3-2 in the second game. Sanguillen coming up. So Jim Bibby went a strong 4 innings, allowed 1 run, and 3 hits. He had 3 strikeouts, getting Eddie Murray twice. No walks, but that's not good enough, not in the final game of the World Series.
Well, Charlie just feels like his bullpen now with Robinson, I guess, must be all right. He probably told him he was fine. He's been throwing good in the series. He's still got Y11 back there. He's still got DeColby. So he figures, what's the difference? All of them been holding Baltimore.
Sanguillen hit .230 during the regular year. He's 1 for 2 as a pinch hitter in the series. Manny, right-hand hitting catcher, swings at everything, and he promptly does just that and fouls it away. It is absolutely shocking when you see Sanguillen take anything close to the plate. For Bibby to show you how well he was pitching, and yet he is trailing. Made 44 pitches in 4 innings, 34 strikes. But one of them, a fastball to Rich Dauer for a home run. Next one is swung on and missed, 0-2. Sparky, this is an unfair question. It's almost a waste to have somebody come up and hit for Bibby.
Well, yeah, because, when you think about it, there's nobody on, nobody out. It's only the top of the 5th.
There's a comebacker. McGregor has it, and that'll be that for Manny Sanguillen. And meanwhile, Jim Bibby is history. When you realize that if you are an excellent hitter in this game, and if you play day in and day out, and if you get 3 hits and 10 at-bats, you're a star. And now you're asking somebody to come off the bench cold, you realize just how tough it is to pinch hit.
I guess I was so impressed the way Bibby was throwing, but I'll say this, that Charlie knows his ball club a whole lot better than I do.
The batter now is Omar Moreno, single to center and fly to right. Moreno 1 for 2. And the fastball in there for a strike. Scott McGregor leading 1-0 on a home run by Rich Dauer in the 3rd inning. McGregor works quickly, comes right back over the top, and a curveball hit foul outside of first down the line, 0-2. Boy, what a comfort it is when you know that you can throw strikes.
Well, when you can throw strikes, your ball club behind you, they always say a defensive club is as good as their pitcher. When he throws strikes, they're ready to go all the time.
That's why you invariably will see a great defensive play behind a pitcher who throws strikes. Because they're not gathering wool out there. They're expecting the ball to be hit on almost every pitch.
Well, they know that pitch going to the plate, the ball is going to get hit.
0-2 0-2 the count to Omar Moreno. On deck, Tim Foli. McGregor into the windup and the strike 2 pitch. Big jug inside. Ball 1.
I'm surprised, looking through the book here. Of course, I wasn't in that league this year to see that the Pirates were shut out 8 times this year.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. McGregor delivers, slicing fly ball to left field. Lowenstein losing his hat and making the catch. I think the fact he lost his hat meant he was either running on his heels or he was having trouble seeing the ball.
Well, I don't know if he was having trouble, it was in the lights or what, but I know that he was having trouble seeing the ball. Almost went for a triple.
So Lowenstein, when an outfielder runs on his heels, his head begins to move a great deal. That's why you're forever teaching your outfielders to run on your toes. And the other is that on that slicing fly ball, Lowenstein might have had trouble finding it in the crowd, and with his head jerking and bobbing and weaving, the hat came off. Tim Foli takes outside, ball 1. 1-0. Foley with 7 hits in his last 3 games. He's been busy. Whacks it to left field. Lowenstein coming up in his tracks to make the catch. So the Pirates, for the second time tonight, are gone in order. And at the end of 4.5 innings, Baltimore 1 and Pittsburgh nothing.
You can improve your home improvements with quality Black & Decker power tools from True Value Hardware stores. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you they're offering the 7224 1/2-inch reversing drill for just $36.88 with an additional side handle for improved control. And the Black & Decker 7530 2-speed jigsaw for just $17.88 that lets you choose the speed you need to cut wood, metal, or plastics. See the complete selection of quality Black & Decker tools at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
Come to McDonald's and play the $1 Million Diamond Hunt. The hunting's great.
I won $5,000.
I bagged a Big Mac.
I cornered a Coca-Cola.
I just won $25,000. If you're 16 or older, you could win up to thousands of dollars or one of 10 million free food prizes in McDonald's $1 Million Diamond Hunt. Game cards and game pieces are free. No purchase necessary.
The hunt is on.
Complete details of participating McDonald's. Prize availability subject to prior winners. Void where prohibited.
Okay, gang. The hunt is on.
Contest ends October 21st or while game stamps last.
As we move to the bottom of the 5th inning, Baltimore holding on to a 1-0 lead on the home run by Rich Dauer. Right-hander John Robinson comes out of the Pirates bullpen to pick up with Jim Bibby. So Bibby pitched a strong 4, allowed just the run on the home run by Dauer. But just the run is in capital letters because Scott McGregor has kept Pittsburgh shut down. The Pirates, leading a man in the first inning, 2 more in the second, had a big break in the 4th and could not score. So the Bucs have left 5 men, and McGregor has been very much in control, despite a couple of fielding lapses by the Orioles. John Robinson, 1-0, and this will be his 4th appearance in the 7 games. He's worked 4 1/3 innings and allowed 3 earned runs. In 4 innings, he has walked 5 while striking out 3. During the regular year, he was part of that powerhouse, but not in the bullpen. During the regular year, Robinson started 25 games. Normally, when you get into the Pittsburgh bullpen, you'll see Tekulve or Romo. But, of course, this is the World Series, so anybody and everybody, really. So Don Robinson coming in to pitch to Doug DeCinces, Rick Dempsey, and then Rich Dauer. Doug DeCinces singled to center in the 2nd inning. The Baltimore third baseman, 1 for 1. Robinson, big man, pounding his cleats on the rubber. DeCinces backs out and waits for him. Robinson ready, delivers fastball in there for a strike, 0-1. Born in Ashland, Kentucky, makes his home in Kenowa, West Virginia. Robinson's strike 1 breaking ball is a beauty. So first the fastball and the overhand curve, and the count 0-2. Everybody likes this fella.
Oh, you have to like him. If you don't like his arm, you don't like ice cream. He can really throw.
DeCinces back up with the count 0-2. Robinson into the windup. Back he comes. Breaking ball is whacked to center. Base hit. So 0-2, he threw a strike, and DeCinces made him pay it.
Yeah, he got that ball right out over the plate. You've got to either get in real deep or make it bad off the plate. He got right up and over the plate.
Now Rick Dempsey coming up. Grounded to third in the second inning. They're throwing back a Robinson in the bullpen.
Yeah, Fly Levin and Jackson are ready to go now again.
Dempsey 0 for 1. Rich Dauer on deck. Madlock up about even. Stargell holding the bag on DeCinces. Would they play hit and run with these two?
They will. They've done it. Dempsey will hit and run, and Dauer, those two.
Fastball high and outside. Dempsey faking a bunt. Ball 1, 1-0. Over the weekend, Dempsey went 4 for 8. In the series, he is 6 for 19. Tim Foli comes in from shortstop. A brief chat to Don Robinson. 1-0 Orioles in the fifth on the home run by Rich Dauer. Dempsey hiding the ball back of his right hip. Turns now and throws to Stargell. DeCinces back to the bag. DeCinces, during the regular year, stole 5 bases. He was caught 3 times. 1 ball and no strikes. Robinson after him again. Though no doubt the Pirates are thinking about a hit-and-run play, and they want to tie up DeCinces as much as they can. Dempsey, another check with Cal Ripken, coaching at third. Jim Fry over at first. Robbie out of a stretch. Dempsey waiting. And the pitch to Rick, he's bunting and fouls it back. Foul ball. There'll be a throw down to second, but it doesn't count. 1-1 to count. So the Pirates played it oh so conservatively in the first inning when Tim Foli sacrificed. Now suddenly we see Dempsey trying to sacrifice in the fifth. I guess when you get down to the 7th game after such a long year, it's pretty tough to just gamble.
Well, he's doing 2 things here, too, Benny. He's ahead 1-0. If Dempsey would hit in a double play, that means if Dauer makes it out, they have to lead off next inning with McGregor. This way, for sure, he's going to have McGregor out of the way.
Robinson checking. 1-1 to count to Rick Dempsey. This time he takes a look at an outside pitch, ball 2, 2-1. Dempsey, during the regular year, sacrificed only 3 times, so that's not really his game.
Earl doesn't bunt much. He doesn't run a lot, and he doesn't bunt a lot.
And here he is in the World Series. 2-1 to count to Dempsey. Robinson out of a stretch, looks over at DeCinces. He doesn't go. The 2-1 pitch, a bunt attempt fouled away, 2-2. Now, of course, you get to the age-old question. You sent him up there for all those logical things that you said. Do you stick to your guns and have him bunt even though you have 2 strikes on him?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't believe he stuck to his guns now. I'm just watching down there with old Cal.
It's amazing. It's something you see every day in baseball where the manager's whole idea is shot down because of the count. Now, we'll see. 2-2, the count to Rick Dempsey. Robinson out of a stretch. Looks at DeCinces. And the 2-2 pitch on the way. Fastball, full swing, foul out of play. Now, let's go back. Remember how intelligent Sparky was as he enumerated the reasons why Rick Dempsey was going to bunt? To stay out of the double play so that if Dauer makes out, you don't lead off the inning with the pitcher. And then the count changes and all that good reasoning goes right down the tube. And we see that happen all the time.
Now if he gets the ground ball, we got a double play.
Right. 2-2. 1-0 Baltimore. 5th inning. Pirates thinking he's swinging. Madlock is back to a normal depth. Robinson out of a stretch. Looks at DeCinces. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball fouled away with a full swing. Hard slider that time. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I don't know how many times I've seen it happen with a pitcher who'll go up there and you know he has to bunt. And suddenly the count goes to 3-1 and they let him swing away. And he hits into the double play that they were trying to avoid in the first place.
Yeah, and truthfully, if you send him up there to bunt, you might as well let him bunt all the way.
2-2, the count to Rick Dempsey. Robinson reading Nicosia's sign. Outfield straightaway. Right-hander out of a stretch. stretch, checks DeCinces, and the 2-2 pitch fastball fouled away down the right field line out of play.
You know, Vince, you're right. Why can't we bunt with 2 strikes? You know, a man's up there to bunt. He can lay a ball down. Really logical. If he's fouled 2 of them off, the odds are now with him that he lays the 3rd one down.
Well, so many of us take what we feel to be history proven over the years. Earl Weaver said there's no such thing as a baseball book, and yet I guess in his mind he's ruffling through the pages, and he wants his man swinging with 2 strikes. 2-2 to Rick Dempsey. DeCinces a cautious lead at third. Nobody out. Pitch to the plate fastball, popped in the air. It's playable. And coming in from right field is Dave Parker. Waiting now, makes the catch, and DeCinces holding at first, 1 away. Now, here's the hero of the moment, Rich Dauer. He'll get a line drive home run in the 3rd inning to make it 1-0, and that's it here in the 5th. Fellow teammates on that college team at USC, managed by Rod Dado, have really captured the headlines and the glory of an all-star game. Freddie Lynn, Steve Kemp, and Roy Smalley Jr. And now suddenly the other man on that squad is right in the middle of the spotlight in the final game of the World Series, Rich Dauer.
Yeah, they have some pretty good baseball players over there, and of course, Rod Dado's done such a tremendous job with those young people. When you get them, I'll say one thing, they know how to play baseball.
So Dauer at the plate, 1 away. DeCinces at first, held on by Stargell. Robinson out of a stretch. Checks, delivers, and a slider over for a strike, 0-1. 53,733, 6 fewer than last night. 0-1 the count. Dauer, the right hand hitting second baseman, throw to first. DeCinces back to the bag. Scott McGregor on deck. 1-0 Baltimore. 1 out in the 5th inning. Baltimore a run on 4 hits. The Pirates no runs, 3 hits. Robinson ready. Strike 1 pitch with a runner going as a fly ball to center. Marino was there. DeCinces watching and now goes back to the bag. Well, they have safely negotiated the terrain because they get their pitcher up one way or another, and he doesn't have to lead off the 6th inning.
Left out through any doings of their own, though, Vince. Just one of those things because, really, if they hit that double play, it would have made it rough. Because now next to him, you have to lead off McGregor in a 1-0 game. He sure hates to do that.
And in trying to avoid the double play, they played hit and run. Dauer flied to center, so he got the ball up in the air. 2 down, and here is McGregor. The whole inning has really revolved around the fact that Scotty is the number 4 hitter, and they've gotten him to the plate. Robinson ready and delivers. Fastball, a little high, ball 1. If you are not keeping score and you wonder about Pittsburgh in the 6th inning, Messrs. Parker, Robinson, and Stargell. 2 hits amongst them. Stargell has both 2 bloopers in the left field. The 1-0 pitch, Scotty takes outside, ball 2. Bumbry on deck. McGregor waiting. 2-0 to Scotty. Stargell holding the bag on DeCinces, and the next one is outside. Ball 3. Going back to game 3 of the World Series, McGregor, in his only at-bat for the year, had fouled out. Almost had a base hit. They ruled it an error because Stargell couldn't get down for it. But he also walked. And now here he is, a pitch away from collecting another walk. The 3-0 pitch, he looks at a strike, 3-1. The difference, a nose at bat, he was facing a left-hander, John Candelaria, for a while. The 3-1 pitch, a strike, 3-2. Then after Candelaria, he looked at Romo, and finally Grant Jackson. 3-2 the count. With 2 down, Stargell is off the bag, so DeCinces will be going. The pitch to McGregor, fastball fouled away. Scott McGregor With 2 down, DeCinces at first in the 5th. Baltimore 1, Pirates nothing. We're halfway through the final game of the '79 World Series. Robinson out of his stretch. John set, 3-2 pitch, fastball fouled away. So Scotty's laying the bat on the ball.
He looks like a hitter, Vince. I'm sure if you go back and look at his high school records, I'll bet he was a real good hitter.
Well, McGregor hanging tough, making Robinson come in 3-2. DeCinces back to the bag. McGregor is a switch hitter, although you'd never know it during the regular year. And he's hitting left-handed now against Robinson. DeCinces goes. There's ball 4.
That's a big walk right there because now with Bumbry up, Robinson out on the hill, here comes Charlie out because he's got to make a decision. He can't afford in this situation to let Bumbry get a base hit.
And the chances are, if he goes to left-handed Grant Jackson against Bumbry, chances are Weaver would not make the change because he's leading, right?
He cannot take his best defensive center fielder out of the ballgame. He's ahead, and he just couldn't afford to do it the 5th inning.
And that'll be that for Don Robinson. So the young man came in and gave up a base hit. Got Dempsey, got Dauer, went 3-2 to McGregor. And, of course, when one pitcher walks another pitcher, it's bad enough. But when you walk an American League pitcher who never gets a chance to swing, that's really a cardinal crime. And so Robinson goes out.
Well, it's a great move by Charlie. He just can't afford here to let Bumbry hit off of Robinson and get a base hit and put him down 2-0 because McGregor has been pitching so outstanding. Looks like he's getting better each inning.
And with that, let's pause for a moment.
Hi there, everyone. I'm Jack Buck, and next Monday night I'll be in Pittsburgh with Hank Stram. The Steelers will be trying to bounce back from their defeat at the hands of Cincinnati last Sunday, and they'll have a tough customer on their hands, the Denver Broncos. Denver at Pittsburgh next Monday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time here on CBS Radio.
CBS Radio Sports, Jack Buck. He and Hank Stram travel to Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh this Monday night, where the Steelers take on the Denver Broncos. Both teams with a 5-2 record looking for a 6th win. It'll be Norris Weiss at the helm for Denver and Terry Bradshaw trying to make the completions for the homestanding Steelers. Denver at Pittsburgh this Monday night at 9 Eastern Time. Next Thursday night, Buck and Stram move on to California, where the Raiders take on the San Diego Chargers in Oakland. But right now, remember the NFL action this Monday night is Denver at Pittsburgh, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on most of these CBS Radio network stations.
Grant Jackson, the left-hander, coming in out of the Pirate bullpen, has been in 3 games and worked 2 innings, no decision, no earned runs allowed. Grant has been around. He's been pitching professionally since 1962. He's 37 years old, and at one stage, after coming up with the Phillies, he went over to the American League in 1971 and stayed with Baltimore through 1975. Jackson will be pitching to Al Bumbry, who has grounded out and popped up. I would guess Bumbry sees a lot of left-handed pitching during the regular year.
Well, he always plays against left-handers. That's the thing in this series that surprised me a little. The fact that 2 ball games he didn't start because of the left-handers, and he's always played all year against the left-handers.
Bumbry hit .285 during the regular year, 2 on and 2 out. McGregor standing at first, DeCinces at second, 1-0 Baltimore. Jackson out of his stretch. Grant ready, left-handed deals, and a half-swing foul. Back to the screen on the count 0-1. On deck, Kiko Garcia. The only run, a home run by Rich Dauer in the 3rd inning. 1-0 Baltimore. 2 out, bottom of the 5th. It's been Bibby for 4, Robinson for 2/3 of an inning, and now Jackson. The next one in the dirt, and a great save by Steve Nicosia. He gave you that Toulouse-Lautrec trot on his kneecaps all the way over to the left. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jackson nods yes, left-hander straightens up. 1-1 pitch to Bumbry is fouled away. Off to the left out of play, 1-2. Bumbry thinking over his pitches. The same story for Grant Jackson. Now Jackson up on the rubber and Bumbry back in at the plate. DeCinces with a single is now at second. McGregor, who walked at first, 2 out. The outfield shaded a little bit towards left field on Bumbry. The 1-2 pitch, breaking ball away, ball 2.
You know, Jackson's just done a great job for the Pirates ever since he's been over there. He'll pitch any time and all the time.
Grant straightens up. Another look at the runners. The 2-2 pitch, breaking ball, reached for, popped up in foul ground. Madlock with a lot of room has it, and Bumbry's hips were in the Pirate dugout on a breaking ball outside. He looked like a fella in the park trying to pick up leaves the way he used his bat.
Well, he went over to say hello to some of his friends over there.
Bailing out to say the least. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 left. And at the end of 5, Baltimore 1, Pirates nothing. The preceding brought to you on behalf of Major League Baseball. We're moving to the 6th inning at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. I'm Vin Scully along with Sparky Anderson. When you think about it, and never mind the money, in fact, never mind the pride, just think about all the baseball that has gone by. Starting the last week or so in February, the exhibition games during the spring, then 162 games during the regular season, then the championship games, finally into the series, the cold, the rain, the snow, and all of a sudden here you are in the 7th game, 1-0 Baltimore. It's incredible.
You gotta love this game to play it 200 times during the year.
Dave Parker, Bill Robinson, and Willie Stargell. Scotty McGregor looks in to get a sign. The left-hander ready and delivers. Fastball, slice foul off third, down the line and out of play. 0-1. McGregor trying to eat Parker up, and he hit it inside out. 0-1. Parker tonight popped up and struck out. McGregor said no, now said yes, and the strike 1 pitch. On the hands, a busted bat and a ground ball to Dauer, and that'll do it for Parker. Boy, he sawed that thing up right at the knuckles.
He's working on fire once he's a winner, Ben.
So McGregor comes inside on Parker and makes him pay. 1 away, and Bill Robinson the batter. Robinson popped up twice. He's 0 for 2. You know, it's funny. I was such a bad hitter that I can hear a bat crack with 50,000 people roaring. It's such a familiar sound. The first one swung on and missed by Bill Robinson, 0-1.
Don't feel like the Lone Ranger. You got one right alongside him. I get that.
Oh, well, you're a professional.
That's a familiar sound.
0-1 to Robbie. McGregor back to the plate. Fastball hit to the hole at short over the glove of Garcia and on out into left field, and that thing was stung. That exploded when it hit the dirt.
Yeah, Garcia didn't have much chance. It had that top spin on it then, and once that top spin hits that dirt, then she shoots.
Let's pause 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS Radio Network.
John Case brings you the great outdoors on News Radio 78, WBBM, Chicago.
Willie Stargell, and of course he always makes the opposition uneasy, especially in this kind of a situation. 1-0 Baltimore, a man aboard, and Stargell at the plate. McGregor comes to him and is a high fly ball into deep right center field. Back goes Singleton, away back to the wall. It's gone. He's done it. Pops has hit it out, and the Pirates lead 2-1. Had 2 base hits against McGregor the first time they faced each other. He had 2 bloop long field singles tonight. One of them actually turned out to be a double when DeCinces fell down trying to catch it. And this time he unloaded over the right center field screen, and it is 2-1 Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you hang that curveball up there.
Adios. Here's Bill Madlock. McGregor's pitch is fouled away out of play. Stargell has all 3 Pirate home runs in the World Series. Tonight, he has a single, a double, and a 2-run home run to give him 7 runs batted in. Life begins at 38.
Not a bad player.
The strike 1 pitch bunted up along third. DeCinces will let it roll foul. So Madlock will have to come back and try it again. And for the first time tonight, they have to move around in the Baltimore nest back of left field. Stargell hit it out in the vicinity of the 378 sign. towards the Pittsburgh bullpen. But with Singleton going back, he went all the way, leaped as high as he could, but he was still a couple of bucks short.
They're going with Dennis Martinez and Flanagan out there.
0-2 the count to Bill Madlock. McGregor delivers, breaking ball, a big chopper back a third. Fair ball, backhanded by DeCinces. The throw got him. Good play. Scotty McGregor, during the regular year, allowed 19 home runs. Almost 1 home run per 9 innings. And, of course, it was only a guess. Remember, we mentioned at the start of the game it was 65 degrees, and the ball figured to travel a little better. And sure enough, we've had 2 home runs tonight. One by Dauer, and this one by Stargell. Here's Nicosia, fouled out and lined out. And McGregor's fastball hit over the mound to the left of Garcia. He's up with it back of the bag and gets it. But the Bucks get on the board. 2 runs, 2 hits. And at the end of 5 1/2, the Pirates 2 and Baltimore 1.
Take a look at the cutlass over there. Cutlass watching. Take a good long look. Look at all that cutlass there. Take a good long look at the cutlass over there.
I'd like to look at a red cutlass. What kind? There are 10 different cutlass models. 10? Right. Not only is there Cutlass Supreme, there's Sporty Cutlass Calais, and if you're a family man... I am. You might want the convenience of one of our 3 new Cutlass 4-doors. 3 new Cutlass 4-doors? Yep. Then there's the roomy Cutlass Cruiser Wagon, and then... do they all come in red? Red or plenty of other colors. And you can specify the standard V6 engine or optional V8 in all 10 Cutlass models. Boy, Cutlass watches do have a lot to watch.
Take a good long look at the cutlass over there.
Well, Cutlass is America's best-selling midsize. Honey, you're going to love what I just got.
Bottom of the 6th inning with the Pirates leading Baltimore 2-1 on the 2-run home run by Willie Stargell. For Baltimore, it'll be Kiko Garcia, Ken Singleton, and Eddie Murray. You know, we've seen a lot of bats broken during the series, and Sparky, you told us a dandy story at dinner time. I think the folks would get a kick out of it.
Well, you know, some of these guys are so strong in the bats today, a lot of them are using much lighter bats. And, you know, on a check swing, you try to hold up on a pitch you're full on, and Jim Rice twice this year. He held up, and when he got done holding up and whipped it back, all he had was the handle in his hand. The end has disappeared, so that shows you that he's so strong he can put a little snap on it.
Broke the bat without ever swinging and making contact. Hard to believe. Remember, Bob Elliott always told the story of coming up to hit in Brooklyn. With the ball game on the line and 2 out, he took 5 pitches. He never swung the bat. The count was 3-2. He swung and missed the last pitch, and the bat broke in half. All the time he had a broken bat in his hand.
Had a broken bat.
Well, here is Kiko Garcia in the bottom of the 6th inning. Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore 1. Grant Jackson, the left-hander, who used to pitch for Baltimore. What a touch of irony there. Grant ready, delivers. Fastball sneaked in there for a strike. Garcia grounded out and singled to right. 1 for 2. Grant looks in to get a sign. The left-hander into the windup, and the strike 1 pitch. Breaking ball swung on. 0-2. Grant Jackson. As he said, he's 37. Stargell is 38. So the veteran ball player is trying to lead Pittsburgh back home with the championship. Meanwhile, Baltimore looking to 25-year-old Scott McGregor. Strike 2 pitch is popped up on the infield. It is Phil Garner, the second baseman, calling and waiting. Moves to his right a bit and makes the catch for the out. 1 away. Now Ken Singleton coming up. Grant Jackson during the regular season was 8-5. His ERA was under 3, and he worked 82 innings. Did well. He saved 14 ball games and won 8.
Well, he's just that's super for the Pirates, and he's 70-some games this year, Benny.
Jackson into the windup. The left-handed delivers, and Singleton has a look at a pitch outside, ball 1. Kenny grounded out to Stargell and flied to left, but those were at-bats against Jim Bibby. Fastball in there for a strike. Bert Blyleven begins to warm up again in the Pirate bullpen. And, of course, the closer you get to the 7th and 8th, you just know that Jacoby will get it.
You'll see him.
The 1-1 pitch, overhand curve, low, ball 2, 2-1. He took a lot off it. Ken Singleton, 0 for 2 tonight. 10 for 27 in the series. And the 2-1 pitch is a high fly ball in dead center. Marino going back on the track at the wall. He's got it. So Singleton unable to get around on it. Hit a long fly ball to center field. 2 down. They were looking at that with their hearts here in Baltimore instead of their eyes. Here's Eddie Murray. Murray has to be glad that Bibby is gone. Bibby struck him out twice. So Eddie 0 for 2. And you can bet he's crushing a little bit at the plate. Now, he's the hungriest hitter in town. Jackson's fastball is popped in the air foul. Stargell has the play. He's there to one-handed, and Eddie Murray has gone 0 for 3. He has 4 hits and 25 at-bats. They have just thoroughly taken the bat away from him. For Baltimore, they're gone in order in the 6th, and at the end of 6, Pirates 2, Baltimore 1.
Here are Barsman and McCormick for Quantel Business Computers. Well, today we're talking with another captain of industry. Sir, could you tell us about your company?
Yes. I have a company where I braid people's legs, and I manufacture merry-go-round horse eyes. It's a conglomerate.
Oh, sounds complex. Tell me, how do you control this conglomerate?
Very simple. I use a Quantel Business Computer.
Oh, you're a computer expert, too.
Are you kidding? I don't know a thing about computers. I used to think that software was a programmer's long job.
Yes, then why a Quantel Business Computer?
Because it speaks my language.
What language is that?
English, my friend, English.
Oh, you mean like how now, brown cow?
That's the idea. And with Quantel's plain English programming, I didn't have to hire some white-coated wizard to help me run my business. And with the money I saved, I was able to acquire another company for my conglomerate.
Oh, what company was that?
A chain of coin-operated marriage chapels.
For more information about Quantel, call toll-free 800-227-1894. In California, 415-783-3410.
Hi there, everyone. I'm Jack Buck, and next Monday night I'll be in Pittsburgh with Hank Stram. The Steelers will be trying to bounce back from their defeat at the hands of Cincinnati last Sunday, and they'll have a tough customer on their hands, the Denver Broncos. Denver at Pittsburgh next Monday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, here on CBS Radio.
That's the Denver Broncos against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Three Rivers Stadium this Monday night at 9 Eastern Time on most of the CBS Radio network stations.
We're moving to the 7th inning with the Pirates leading Baltimore 2-1. I don't know whether Baltimore is trying to cite its ball club or not. On the message board, they're saying trivia time. When was the last time an American League team won a World Series in 7 games? You know what they're thinking about here. Phil Garner is getting some booze out of emotion for no other reason. Garner hit a pop fly. That was in the 4th inning. He was digging down the lane. Eddie Murray was in the lane and then started to move inside the diamond as Garner tried to run inside the line, and they collided. Now Garner at the plate. McGregor delivers, low and outside, ball 1, 1-0.
First of all, Garner would never do anything like that on purpose anyway. He's not that kind of a player. He plays hard, but he doesn't do that stuff.
The 1-0 pitch, ground ball sharply to third, knocked down by DeCinces. Dug on top of it, close, got it. Close play. The crowd staying on Garner for the moment. 1 out. And the batter now will be Grant Jackson. Tim Stoddard and Tippy Martinez are throwing down in the Baltimore bullpen. Grant Jackson, during the regular year, was 0 for 9. Shatters his bat. Hits a ground ball to Garcia. He kicks it and throws just in time. And Chuck Tanner is going out to get it off his chest. He was mad enough when Garner was nipped. Now he's steaming when Jackson is nipped.
You know, Vince, you really have to give these umpires credit. This whole series has been umpired extremely well. I don't think that there's been any decisions really that we could say they were wrong on.
And for Chuck Tanner, I think it's a case of finally having to pull the plug and get it out. A little of that emotion, the tension that's building. Chuck now going back to the dugout.
The one thing about Charlie that you'll learn, he doesn't go out there and raise a lot of it. He goes out there and tells them he doesn't use any language.
Baltimore 1. Top of the 7th. Lowenstein, DeCinces, and Dempsey due up in the bottom of the 7th. McGregor into the windup. Delivers. Line drive down the right field line. Foul. In the count 0-1. Off-speed curveball. The kind of a pitch that Marino could pull and did. 0-1.
Familiar thing on the scoreboard. Pittsburgh 5 hits, Baltimore 4.
Yeah, there it is. And, of course, for McGregor to hold Pittsburgh to 5 hits, he is the only pitcher to keep Pittsburgh hitting in single figures, and he gave them 9 hits when he beat them 8-4. 0-1 the count to Omar Moreno. Scotty ready to work, and Moreno isn't. He backs out.
Then I don't know how the Dodger people felt, but over Cincinnati, we always felt the Pittsburgh clubs could get in the coal mine with the lights out.
Absolutely. The strike one pitch. Marino ground ball to the hole and threw into right field, despite a diving effort by Rich Dauer. And now leading 2-1, we again expect to see Marino. We might be expecting him to run next Thursday.
Maybe next Thursday. He's going to run this time.
One of these days, Marino is going to run. You know, it's pretty hard to see a fella who steals 77 bases during the regular year and appear to be almost intimidated taking his lead at first. Here's Tim Foli. Foli sacrificed Marino to second in the first inning, robbed of a hit by Garcia, lined out last time out. McGregor staring at Marino, goes over there, and Omar falling back to the bag head first.
You know, we're working our way up to Stargell again.
Dave Parker on deck. McGregor checking Marino, just staring at him. Now to the plate, fastball and low, ball 1, 1-0.
It seems like this Pittsburgh lineup, maybe I'm wrong, it seems like Parker and Stargell come up more times than other people.
That's got to be a recurring nightmare. McGregor set, another look at Marino. He's not going, and Foley takes inside, ball 2, 2-0. I guess Marino just feels I can't get a jump on this man.
He runs on his own. I do know that. Charlie doesn't give him signs. He runs on his own, and he's, like you said, he's just been totally crowded.
Eddie Murray holding the bag on Marino. Foley waiting 2-0. McGregor ready. The 2-0 pitch taken for a strike. So Foley looking all the way.
That pitch he was breaking back to first when McGregor was going to plate.
2-1 to Foley. 2-1 in favor of Pittsburgh. We're in the 7th inning. 2 out. McGregor to first base. Again, Marino back to the bag. 2 runs, 6 hits for Pittsburgh. 1 run, 4 hits, and 2 errors for Baltimore. Foley afraid he'd be quick pitch, so he asked for time, granted by Jerry Newdecker. Now the 2-1 pitch. Fastball in there. High strike, about letter high outside part of the plate.
Foley's giving him every chance to run. He gave him all 4 pitches to run on.
2-2, but Marino is still there. McGregor checks him. Just staring at him. Comes to the plate. Foley belts it, but it's hooking down the line. Foul. Foley doesn't figure to hurt you with the long ball. Tim, with all of his at-bats, he had 525 at-bats. And a total for the year, because he also played East, 532. He had 1 home run. 2-2. Marino again off the bag. McGregor set, looks at Omar. He's staring at him. Now decides to go over there. You know, Maury Wills, when he was with the Dodgers, always felt it was easier to steal on a left-hander because he is wide open to you. You can pick his move apart.
Joe Morgan the same way. Joe would steal on left-hander so much easier than right-hander.
Marino not only has not been able to take too much of a lead, as Sparky mentioned in this inning, and also occurred in the first inning. He was running back to the bag when McGregor was pitching to the plate. So he's been thoroughly fooled by Scott. And Dempsey out there to talk to McGregor for the moment. 2 out. 2-2 to count to Foley. Top of the 7th inning. Pirates 2, Baltimore 1. Dauer a home run for Baltimore. Stargell hit one with a man aboard for Pittsburgh. McGregor delivers. Curveball hit wide to third. DeCinces the short way to Dauer for the 4th. And Marino has yet to run. No runs, 1 hit. And at the end of 6 1/2, Pirates 2, Baltimore 1.
Here's to the cashiers who keep the checkout lines a moving.
This much for you. You're working hard all day just like you always do.
I'm a head
cashier for a supermarket? Well, you're constantly doing something. Running check runs, checking in money from the checkers, verifying their checks that they take on the register, answering the telephone. I like working with the public. I like meeting people. I enjoy people. And you grow attached to them. Some of them come in every day and buy just a few items, but they're here every day, and you get to know them. It gets to be like part of your life.
This bud's for you.
Yeah, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This bud's for you. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Winding down, but there's still a good ways to go. In the 7th, 2-1 Pittsburgh. Grand Jackson tuning up. Johnny Lowenstein, Doug DeCinces, and Rick Dempsey will be coming up against the Pittsburgh left-hander. Little square dancing off third. With Jackson on the hill, they will make the moves, and Gary Renicky will lead it off for Lowenstein. Renicky, 2 for 14, right-hand batter, will be coming up to hit for Lowenstein. The first of Earl Weaver's pinch hitters. He has used a bunch of them. Pitched his first game in Game 4. Renicky started that game. He did not start tonight against Bibby, but now he's in there against Jackson. Fastball outside, ball 1. 1-0. Gary Renicky, right-hand hitting outfielder. Jackson's 1-0 pitch. Fastball on the inside corner. 1-1. Renicky with the face mask, having been hit in the face by Laren LeGros during the year, takes the next pitch over, 1-2. He's a fastball hitter, isn't he, Spark?
Fastball hitter and an inside fastball hitter, and he's taking 2 right there.
And he's paid for it. It's 1-2. Jackson nods yes into the windup, and the 1-2 pitch swung on and missed, and it was down and away.
And then he swings at the down and away pitch, and that's just what Jackson wanted. He got away with murder inside, so he said, I'd better just not go again. I'll go low and away, and he chased it.
So Gary Renicky strikes out, and now with 1 out, the batter is Doug DeCinces. DeCinces is 2 for 2, singles up the middle each time. Pittsburgh, 2 runs, 6 hits. Baltimore, 1 run, 4 hits, 2 errors. A battle of home runs. Rich Dauer homered leading off the 3rd. Willie Stargell homered with Bill Robinson aboard in the 6th. Fast one low, ball 1, 1-0. Rick Dempsey on deck. Jackson reading Nicosia signs. Now the left-hander's 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball hit to center. Moreno hesitated. Now comes up with his speed and makes the play. For a split second, he wasn't sure, but he's quick enough to react. 2 down, and Dempsey will be the batter. Dempsey has grounded out on fly out, 0 for 2. Grant Jackson waiting for his outfield to get back into position. Parker gestures everything's cool in right field. Moreno back to his position in straightaway center. And Dempsey, the right-hand hitter at the plate. Nicosia wig-wagging out towards Willie Stargell. And Stargell backs up 2 feet while imitating a bunt. Then he goes close to the foul line. And the pitch to Dempsey low, ball 1. They want Wilbur to cut down the chance of an extra base hit. They moved him on the line. Madlock is deep and guarding the line at 3rd. The 1-0 pitch to Dempsey is a high fly ball into shallow left. Bill Robinson coming up for it and makes the catch, and Grant Jackson just sets him down in order. And at the end of 7, Pirates 2, Baltimore 1.
Don't close your eyes to the problems of harsh, annoying light in your home. Instead, install General Electric soft white bulbs from True Value hardware stores for soft, pleasant illumination without annoying glare. GE soft whites feature a milky coating inside the bulbs that softens the light, so it shines without harsh glare and hard shadows. And because there are fewer shadows and less glare, General Electric soft white bulbs are easier on your eyes. True Value hardware stores offer GE soft whites in 60, 75, and 100-watt sizes to suit any room's lighting requirements. See what a difference they'll make in your home. Soften room lighting and reduce annoying glare and shadows with GE soft white bulbs. They're just part of the complete selection of General Electric bulbs at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers. And save gas. You won't have to drive far for your hardware and houseware needs. If you're looking for value, service, and selection, you'll find them nearby at any one of the more than 5,000 True Value hardware stores and home centers, and they're located nationwide.
Through 7 innings, it is 2-1 in favor of the Pirates. Gary Renicky, who batted for John Lowenstein, stays in the ball game in left field, and Scott McGregor will no doubt be pitching his last inning because he's due to bat in the bottom of this 8th inning. For the Pirates, Dave Parker, Bill Robinson, and then Willie Stargell. McGregor has concluded his warm-ups. Dave Parker popped up, struck out, and grounded out. He's 0 for 3. And McGregor is scraping at the dirt atop the rubber. Scotty waiting for Parker. Parker has not had any good rips at all. McGregor's done a marvelous job in pitching to him. In fact, McGregor was doing an outstanding job until he made the pitch to Stargell, and then everything just blew up on him. But it's only 2-1 Pittsburgh. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Outfield deep. Bumbry slightly over towards right center by a hair. And the first pitch, a half swing. They check at third. Swing, says Terry Tata. 0-1. Terry Tata of the National League umpiring at third. Parker back up to the plate. McGregor into the windup. The strike 1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. He struck Parker out with a similar attempt at a check swing in the 3rd inning. Dempsey in the crowd, wigwagging a couple of signs out. Now McGregor into the windup, and the strike 2 pitch is fouled away off to the left out of play, up to the photographer's platform. No balls, 2 strikes. Again to repeat, for Baltimore in the bottom of the 8th, they have Dauer, McGregor, and Bumbry. 0-2 to Dave Parker. 2-1 Pittsburgh in the 8th. Sidearm fastball high and inside. Ball 1, 1-2. McGregor is not an overpowering pitcher. He doesn't have that blinding pull out.
Not overpowering, Vince, but he can sure get the ball where he wants to. And with Parker, he's gotten it there all night.
1-2 the count. Scotty's walked 1 batter, but that was intentional. Fastball is hit down the left field line, slicing in the corner, foul. So it's still 1-2 to Parker. McGregor, who made 96 pitches in Pittsburgh to beat the Pirates 8-4, into the 8th inning tonight, with Pittsburgh leading 2-1. Parker coming back up to the plate. 1-2. McGregor, a 13-game winner during the regular season. Scotty ready and delivers, and the pitch inside, ball 2. When you realize the salary that Parker gets, and you realize whatever it might be, the salary that McGregor gets, it's really optimistic to think you can get him out.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be able to get him out.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. Fouled away. Well, he's battling Parker, however, and he has him 0 for 3 on the night. Bill Robinson in the on-deck circle. 2-1 Pittsburgh in the 8th. McGregor nods, goes to the windup, and the 2-2 pitch on the hands fouled away. He's pitching him inside his shirt.
Staying right in on him. He's been great with him all night right in. Every once in a while, he'll pick up the outside corner on him.
So Parker backs out, still trying to guess location. McGregor into his windup, and the 2-2 pitch. Fastball just low and outside. Did he ever try to saw off the corner and just miss? So he goes 3-2. plants the left foot, now moves the right one in. McGregor ready as Dempsey sets a target. 3-2 pitch, a half swing, strike 3. And McGregor has shut him out. Boy, what a job of pitching.
And the ball was in tight again on him.
So McGregor has struck out Parker twice for his only 2 strikeouts.
I gave up all night.
Here's Bill Robinson, popped up twice, but with 1 out in the 6th inning, he singled, and then Willie Stargell followed with the home run, and that's the Pirates' story. They lead 2-1. Robbie takes low and outside, ball 1, 1-0. The next one, Robbie swung on and missed, 1-1. We've talked before, Grant Jackson 37, Willie Stargell 38, Bill Robinson is 36.
Just a young club, just
that's what it is,
ready
just
to
building.
go.
The 1-1 pitch is grounded foul outside of third, 1-2. If they were going against your pitching staff, it would really be the old men against the kids.
Well, they might arrest them, because our kids are not even 21, not legal age yet, so they might arrest some of these guys.
Don't have very many voters, barely, on your ball club. 1-2 the count to Bill Robinson. McGregor into the windup and delivers, and Robbie fouls it back upstairs out of play. To Bill Robinson. McGregor into the windup and delivers, and Robbie fouls it back upstairs out of play. 1-2. The Pirates 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors. Baltimore 1 run, 4 hits, and 2 errors. Stargell's home run with a man aboard, leading Dauer's bases empty home run. Fastball is hit to left field. Renicky in there, however, to make the catch for the out. 2 down.
McGregor's just pitched a Super Bowl game. Before the game started, if anybody told you he was 7 2/3 innings and only giving up 2 runs, you feel like Baltimore's going to hell.
And here's the man who turned the tables on Scott McGregor in the 2nd inning. Stargell sliced a little looper into left field for a base hit. He did the same thing in the 4th for a double. He belts one down the right field line, but this one is foul in the lower deck, and the count 0-1.
We call him Pops. I'll tell you what, he looks like a 21-year-old chicken.
Oh, absolutely. I only call him Pops because they do. 0-1 to Stargell, who is 3 for 3 tonight, pinwheeling that bat around and around. McGregor into the windup, and the strike 1 pitch. Swung on and missed, took a little bit off, and Stargell out in front of it.
Ben, you've been in the league so long with him, and even longer than me, that this is one of the true class people in our business. And, if anybody's going to do anything at a moment like this, you don't mind seeing a man like this do it.
No, that's right. 0-2 to Stargell. McGregor into the windup. Scotty delivers. Fastball is hammered to left field. Renicky with the ball over his head, and it's going to hit the wall. Would you believe Stargell is going to be 4 for 4 with a double? The big man, the power of strength, has done it again as he shells one and short hop the fence 378 feet away, and I think McGregor's done. I don't believe they're going to let him pitch to Madlock, but let's wait and see. A 2-out double by Stargell. Stargell hit in 6 of the 7 games. They're going to walk Madlock. And on deck is Nicosia. So McGregor will stay in. Remember, he's due up 2nd in the 8th inning. So they will just take the bat away from Madlock and walk him intentionally. Stargell with 4 hits. Yes, Park.
This winter, I was at a banquet with Willie Stargell in Meadsville, Ohio, and he got up to talk, and somebody asked him a question. They said, Willie, when do you think you'll retire? And he said, I'll tell you this. When the day comes when I don't enjoy walking in that batter's box and don't get a thrill out of it, that day I'll retire. I don't think it'll be for a while.
No, the way he's been swinging the bat here tonight, a single, 2 doubles, and a home run. Stargell now has a dozen hits in 29 at-bats, 7 runs batted in. He has hit all 3 of the Bucks' home runs in the series. Nicosia is coming up. Chuck Tanner is out of the dugout. And he wanted the plate umpire, I guess, Jerry Neudecker. Now, Neudecker looked at the ball, and I think because of that hit, maybe they want the ball for Willie Stargell's trophy room. So they wanted the ball, period. There wasn't anything wrong. They just want to keep it for Stargell, I guess. So Wilbur at second base, Madlock at first, 2 down, Nicosia the batter.
What you said, Vinny, about the money, that's what we've been trying to tell the people. It's not the money. That ball means more to Willie than the maybe $30,000 they'll get.
And McGregor delivers ground ball to the hole at short. Garcia back to get it. Over to Dauer in time for the 4th on Madlock. And McGregor is out of the inning and no doubt out of the game now, unless Dauer hits a home run leading off the 8th inning. At the end of 7 1/2, the Pirates 2, Baltimore 1.
David Keir of Milton, Vermont tells how Western Union came to the rescue.
I had to go on a sudden business trip. To obtain my passport, I had to send for my birth certificate in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania required a small fee. So I just called Western Union, sent them a money order, and the state had their fee in no time at all.
To send money, call Western Union toll-free and charge it to your MasterCharge or Visa account. Day or night, it's Western Union to the rescue.
The service was just great. There's really no other way I could have done it.
Today's man. He lives with today's technology. And he expects today's razor blade to be made sharp, to shave close. So he helps protect his face with today's Rise. Rise is thicker than the leading foam. Rise helps protect your skin against blade irritation. For today's close shave, get today's rich, thick Rise. Helps protect your skin against blade irritation. Get today's thick Rise.
We're winding up the baseball season with all the excitement of the World Series, but there's exciting sports the year round on CBS Radio. NFL Monday Night Football, college football postseason play, Super Bowl 14, horse racing with the Washington, D.C. International, the Preakness, and the Belmont Stakes, pro golf, pro tennis, and don't forget the 1980 Winter and Summer Olympics. All year round, CBS is your #1 radio network for sports. We're going to the bottom of the 8th inning at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. The Pirates 2 and Baltimore 1. Vin Scully along with Sparky Anderson. And Sparky, Dauer is going to lead it off, and Scott McGregor is in the on-deck circle.
Well, the only thing I can think of is Dauer maybe gets a double or something. Scott might be a good punter. I don't know how because he hasn't punted all year, but maybe they figure they'll let him bunt him over to third, but I don't believe that he'll stay in even if he gets on first.
Jackson's fastball is low. Ball 1, 1-0. Dauer homered in the 3rd inning for the only Baltimore run. Slide to center in the 5th. The 1-0 pitch to Rich is popped up on the left side, and it's Foley calling as he goes out on the grass. Tim waiting and puts it away. And now McGregor turns and walks away. And there's an old friend of yours coming up out of the step.
The Birmingham Bopper, big nose coming up, and I'll tell you one thing, he'll get 3 cuts.
Lee May will come up and bat for Scott McGregor. McGregor pitched a marvelous game. The 25-year-old left-hander gave it a battle, led 1-0 into the 6th. One pitch he wanted back, the one he gave Stargell, but it was gone. And it made it 2-1 Pittsburgh, and it's enough to chase it. Here's the announcement on May.
No kitchen inside. He loves that ball inside. You got to stay down away from it.
Now the 1-0 pitch on the way to May. Off speed, and he floated it very high. Ball 2, 2-0.
I got one word for this man. This is class. He's a class guy.
How long were you in it? Quite a while.
2 years. Yeah, that's all, but he's got nothing but class in him.
The 2-0 pitch, fastball, swung on and missed, and it was down and away. He foul tipped it into Nicosia's mitt. Up there with Al Bumbry on deck. And the 2-1 pitch to May, off speed, and he threw it to dirt, ball 3.
Here's where he likes to get you. 3-1, and he'll really let it go. He'll be airing it all out here.
So time for the moment. Jerry Neudecker calling time. Van Jackson 3-1 to the pinch hitter. 2-1 Pittsburgh, bottom of the eighth. 1 out, bases empty. Jackson ready in the 3-1 pitch. Off speed. Ball 4. The tying run is a ball.
They'll use Belanger here to run for Lee. They don't ever let Lee run in these situations.
Well, Lee May gets the walk. Belanger will run for him. And the batter will be Bumbry. Well, they're up and hollering at Memorial. The tying run at first with 1 out. Bumbry, the batter. He has grounded to Stargell, popped up to Foley, and fouled out to Madlock. Madlock is playing on the grass up inside the bench. Foley and Garner put their heads together briefly, and this crowd has come to life again, trying to rattle Grant Jackson. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and Bumbry around to bunt, takes low, ball 2. Chuck Tanner is hollering at Jerry Neudecker. There isn't a chance the plate umpire can hear him, but Tanner thinks that last pitch is a strike. The 2-0 pitch to Bumbry, taken for a strike. Good one. Jim Rooker and Ken Singleton down in the Pirate bullpen. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Al Bumbry, taken low. 3-1. Bumbry has a look at Cal Ripken. Take a shot for us.
I think he's going to be taken here for one reason, that if he can walk, Charlie has to make a change. I'm sure it'll be by 11, then they'll pinch hit for Garcia. And that's the reason they ran with Belanger for May.
3-1 to count to Bumbry. This crowd going wild. Jackson straightens up. The 3-1 pitch is down the pipe. 3-2. Colby still heating up in the bullpen. On deck is Garcia. 3-2 pitch. The runner goes, and it's fouled away. So as you called it, Sparky, Belanger going on a run and hit play. 3-2, 1 out. So if you're going once, I guess you're going again.
Yeah, he's got to be going, but he'll just wait a little bit. He'll make sure Jackson is going to the plate here.
3-2 to Al Bumbry. 2-1 Pittsburgh. Bottom of the eighth. 1 out. Belanger at first. He goes. The pitch is dribbled foul off to the right of the plate. They crank that tension wheel one more notch.
Yeah, and I think Jackson's in a position right now. It's pretty hard for him to throw that sidearm breaking ball that he got Al before, because he just can't afford to walk.
A lot of the good folks here at Baltimore, and there are over 53,000, and they're on their feet. Belanger off first. He'll be going again. Jackson ready. Belanger goes, and it's fisted foul out of play.
That was a ball, but Al, I don't blame him. He couldn't lay off of that ball. 3-2, and the man running, he knows if he misses the ball, he's going to be thrown out.
Well, Jackson coming inside on Bumbry, and he got it off the thumbs and fouled it back. Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore 1, bottom of the eighth inning. What a pressure moment for Bumbry and Jackson. Grant ready. This runner goes. Ball 4. And now Earl Weaver is saying to Chuck Tanner, okay, make your move, because he called Garcia away for the moment. And we shall see. 2 on, 1 out. Bottom of the eighth inning. Pirates 2, Baltimore 1.
Well, what's happened here, Benny, is he's given Charlie a chance to do what he wants. He's sending up Allier, and now he's got Kelly sitting over there. Charlie's going to decide which hitter he wants to face. myself, I think he'll probably keep him on the right side for that ground ball.
Benny Ayala being introduced to the crowd, hitting .333 in the series, 2 for 6. And now here comes Chuck Tanner. And he gestures right arm. That can mean only one man in town, Ken Singleton.
He's going to go to his ace. You can't blame him for that. He's going to go to the guy that got him here. There's no question about it.
He patched Grant Jackson on the back. Jackson going 3-2 with Bumbry and finally walking. And, of course, he walked the leadoff man, or actually with one out, he walked the pinch hitter Lee May. So now Belanger at second base is a potential tying run. Bumbry at first, the go-ahead or winning run. And coming out of the bullpen, as he did 94 times during the regular season, Ken Singleton. And immediately now, Weaver will make another change. He wants a left-handed bat in there.
Yeah, he's going to go to Terry Crowley. He knows Crowley's a good fastball hitter, but Terry's a high fastball hitter. And the only thing here is that if Terry hits the ball on the ground, it is a double play.
Well, we got a lot of maneuvering around here. They're shuffling and dealing cards. Ken Singleton is being brought in from the Pirates bullpen. Terry Crowley will be batting for Benny Ayala. In other words, Ayala's out of the ballgame, even though he hasn't done a thing. Ken Singleton being announced to the crowd. The string bean, who is listed at 160 pounds, loosening up with runners at first and second and one out. And in a moment, a confrontation with Terry Crowley. If you remember, both John Lowenstein and Terry Crowley had pinch hit doubles, each with the bases loaded to drive in 2 runs and beat Singleton in Pittsburgh. Singleton came back to pitch so well last night, and here he is now, as you figured he would be if he got down to this situation.
Well, you said it earlier in the game. If you get to this situation, the man that got you here, like they always say, the man who brought me here, he's going in.
So Terry Crowley, 1 for 3. It was a big one, a double and 2 RBIs. Terry got a pitch up and in and doubled. Singleton, of course, when he is right, gets everything down. Belanger, the tying run at second. Bumbry at first. 1 out. And on deck, Ken Singleton. Singleton steps on the rubber and pulls his foot off as if it was hot. Now he gets back on. Ken ready, and the string bean at the belt. The first pitch to Crowley. Sinker missed. Ball 1. Terry have a good eye.
Very good eye. He likes the ball high, and Singleton doesn't throw high, so he's just going to have to hope that Singleton makes a mistake and gets it up like he did in Pittsburgh.
The 1-0 pitch to Terry Crowley, a 300 hitter as a pinch hitter. He pops it in the air, foul, off third, down the line. It's doubtful. It'll go back into the stands, out of play. Madlock and Robinson over to take a look, but that's all.
He did. He got that ball up, but he got it out far enough that Terry couldn't pull it.
1-1 to Terry Crowley. Boy, you've really got to have a different system to be a pinch hitter in the clutch. I mean, somehow or other, you have to just turn yourself off.
Well, you don't have no blood in you. You have to go up there with ice water, and Terry's been a great pinch hitter. That's the one thing he did great in Cincinnati, and he's done it great at Baltimore.
1-1 to count to Terry Crowley. Singleton in relief of Grant Jackson. 2-1 Pittsburgh in the eighth with 2 on and 1 out. 1-1 pitch to Terry Crowley. Singleton set, double check, delivers, and he's low and away. Ball 2.
How about a guy like Singleton, though, Vinny? 94 times during the season. I think this makes about 100 count in the playoffs. And look at the jams he's been in.
Incredible. You have 2 men then with ice water battling each other, and the ball game on the line in the eighth. The 2-1 pitch to Crowley is swung on, slow ground ball down to Garner. He can only go to first for the out, which puts 2 runners in scoring position, and Ken Singleton coming up.
You know, you sit over on the bench, man, and you say to yourself, it's as simple as this. Here's the ball game. If we get this guy out, we think we can win it. If we don't get this guy out, it could be all over for us.
Let me ask you this. Singleton has hit well. He came into this game hitting .400. you wouldn't think of walking Singleton, would you?
In this situation, I don't believe he can for one reason. He can't put Jacoby in a spot that he has to try to keep that sinker right down low. They're going to put him on, huh?
Sure are.
They've got Murray 0 for 20, so Charlie figures that the young kid will be pressing. And this shows me something. This great managing by Charlie. Great managing.
So they're going to walk Singleton. It also shows you how they feel about Jacoby. Because, as you said, you really put your pitcher in a spot. You say, here, you've got to throw strikes or you walk into tying run.
But, Vince, when you look this situation over, this might be the best strategy that anybody has done in this World Series. This takes a lot of guts and a lot of courage to put Murray up there to make sure that McCovey now has to throw strikes.
And here's the man that you're looking at, Eddie Murray, who hit .295 this year, 25 home runs, 99 runs batted in, and the big story has been his inability to hit, but as we've said each time, up to here.
Well, Charlie knows this is a great young ball player, but he also knows he's 23 years old, his first World Series. He's going to make him do it.
So Eddie Murray, with Belanger at third, Bumbry at second, Singleton at first, 2 out, bottom of the 8th inning. Pirates 2, Baltimore 1. Let's see if Jacoby pitches from a stretch or a windup. He looks at his infield. He'll pitch from a stretch. And Eddie Murray, starving to death for a base hit at the plate. Jacoby delivers, and Murray fouls it away. 0-1. Well, maybe the biggest moment in the game. Maybe. We still have the 9th. Murray backs out, bases loaded, 2 out, 0-1 the count. Pirates 2, Baltimore 1. Jacoby, hands on his knees, greeting Nicosia. Now he straightens up. The strike 1 pitch to Murray, foul back, 0-2, and that looked like it got up a little bit.
He got up with that pitch, and he was a little up with the pitch before. But there's the thing. There's a 23-year-old young guy up there. The tension, he's jumping at the ball. He's 0 for 20. Charlie's put the pressure right on him.
0-2 to Eddie Murray. Here in the inning, Grant Jackson walked Lee May and Al Bumbry. And they brought in Jacoby, who got Crowley to ground out. Walked Singleton intentionally. So on 3 walks, the Orioles have the bases loaded, 2 out, and 0-2 to Eddie Murray. Nicosia, blinking sign. Jacoby is ready. And the strike 2 pitch to the Orioles is outside. Ball 1, 1-2.
I'm going to say it before we know what happens. To me, if Pittsburgh wins this game, this is Chuck. There's where the manager won a ball game.
1-2 to Eddie Murray. The big decision puts Singleton aboard with first base open. Murray backs out. Now Eddie back up to the plate. Jacoby on and off the rubber. Now he's on, and Murray's out. Boy, you talk about fidgety as a cat. Both men are kind of jumping around. And the old line that I first heard Fred Haney talk about Lou Burdette, he said he'd make coffee nervous. Well, these two would make coffee nervous right now. 1-2. Murray back in. Jacoby on top. Kent out of his stretch. Checks the runners. The 1-2 pitch to Murray. Outside with a sinker, ball 2.
I'll tell you what, Vinny, if I'm out there listening to the ball game on any one of the 26 Major League cities, I'm making the call tomorrow morning for my ticket.
I hear you. That's right. Think baseball. We'll see you in 1980. 2-2. The count to Eddie Murray. Jacoby out of his stretch. They're going wild in Baltimore. The pitch to Murray is a drive to right field. Parker going back on the ball, reaches up and makes the catch, and he was a little shaky going back. In fact, for a moment, I thought Dave Parker might fall down. He was cross-legged as he made his turn.
It was a tough play, and I'll tell you, that's why the man's such a good outfielder. He was able to keep himself under control and still get to the ball.
No runs, no hits, and 3 left. And at the end of 8, Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore 1. Hasn't this been an exciting baseball season? Don't you wish you and your family got to see more games? How many times have you said, boy, I wish we had tickets to that game? Well, now's the time to do something about it. Now's the time to make sure you and your family don't miss out on next season's exciting games. Call your favorite team. Ask about 1980 season tickets. I'm sure they'll have a ticket plan to fit your needs. Do it now. Join the 43 million fans this year who enjoyed Major League Baseball at the ballpark. Baseball fever. Catch it now for 1980. The preceding has been brought to you on behalf of Major League Baseball. At the end of 8 innings, Pittsburgh 2 runs, 7 hits, and no errors. Baltimore 1 run, 4 hits, and 2 errors. Mark Belanger is now the shortstop, and Tim Stoddard takes over on the hill. And for Pittsburgh, Phil Garner, then Ken Singleton and Omar Moreno. For Eddie Murray, a long fly ball to right field for the last out with the bases loaded in the 8th inning. A play where Dave Parker was anything but steady, and I think the rough outfield, he almost went down. Would that have been a story? And for Eddie Murray, well, there's one consolation for him. He's just a kid starting out, and anybody who bumps into him, you might remind him. One of the great first basemen around went through a series without a base hit by the name of Gil Hodges. Some are over more than that even. And then the next year, the Dodgers won the World Series 2-0, and if my memory is correct, Gil drove in both runs. So Murray's got a long way to go. Garner drives one down the left field line and in the corner. And Phil Garner continues to drive Baltimore crazy as he doubles in the corner. Garner, 1 for 3 tonight with his double, and what a series he's had. If overshadowed at all, it would be because of the home run histrionics of Willie Stargell. Garner's 12th hit, good for 16 total bases. Garner, when you go back and count championship games and World Series, he has now hit in 24 straight.
Well, it means that he can play when the pressure's on the line, I think.
Boy, that's something to keep in mind, all right. Now Jacoby coming up, and Baltimore looking bunt.
Here's their play, Vinny. They'll try to get the guy at third, even though it's not a forced play. You watch that starter get off that mound and watch Murray get in. They're going to make the play at third if they can.
Jacoby trying to get Garner over. Belanger is right back of him like a quarterback in football. Murray coming to the plate. DeCinces near the bag. And the bunt is missed. The throw down to second. Garner back in head first. 0-1 the count to Jacoby.
I believe they got him 13 times in this same situation at third base this year.
13 times at third.
13 times without a forced play. They tagged the man out at third with a man on second trying to bunt him to third.
0-1 the count to Ken Singleton. Stoddard checking. Dempsey setting a target. Now the strike one pitch. Stoddard delivers. Murray's coming to the plate. The bunt to Stoddard, and he's not going to third, so they have to throw to first. Heads up play by Garner.
You see, though, they had him dead. That's their play. That pitcher breaks right over to the line. That first baseman's on top, and he comes way off towards the mound and in and makes you have to bunt at that foul line.
So no sacrifice. Jacoby hits back to Stoddard. Now Earl Weaver has some decisions to make. He has a right-hand hitter, Stoddard. He has a left-hand batter, Moreno. If he puts Moreno on looking for force plays to get out of the inning, then he gets Foley and maybe Parker. And the first thing that Earl does is remove Stoddard, and I guess Tippy Martinez will be brought in, or let's check.
I'm not too sure. I think Flanagan was warming up, and I'm just not too sure. Yeah, I believe he's bringing Flanagan in.
So the first thing, Moreno is going to be looking at a left-hander, evidently. 2 runs, 8 hits, and no errors for the Pirates. 1 run, 4 hits, 2 errors for Baltimore. And, of course, the big out in the 8th inning. Baltimore loading the bases, but remember, they loaded the bases on walks. They have not been able to hit a lick.
No, that's the thing. That's been the whole thing here, and let's face it, this Pittsburgh ball club, Benny, the whole series, they started out hammering and haven't stopped.
And when you think about it, when you get over all the excitement of the World Series and the cold analysis, the Baltimore ball club was 11th in hitting in the American League.
Yeah, you know, somebody said to me this morning, they said, well, Baltimore's just not hitting. I said, well, they were 11th in the American League in hitting. What are you talking about?
And in 1966, when Baltimore thoroughly shut out the Dodgers, and some people were in shock, but it was pointed out the Dodgers set a National League record in 1966. They were shut out 17 times and still won the pennant, so that when they were shut out in the World Series, it wasn't really that much of a surprise.
No, they used to say if they got a run, now you got to hold them. That's it.
So Mike Flanagan will be coming in his third game. Flanagan 1-1 with a marvelous ERA of 2.4, and he'll be going up against Omar Moreno. Well, now Flanagan taking his 8 warm-up tosses, and we're about ready.
Moreno just said to himself, too, I don't ever have to see Flanagan again, and up he pops.
So Moreno told to get in by Newdecker, and here we go. Garner at second base, 1 out in the 9th. Pirates 2, Baltimore 1, and Tim Foli on deck. Flanagan set, Mike delivers, fastball in there for a strike. Let's pause 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
Matters of opinion and critics at large. Informed commentary on News Radio 78, WBBM, Chicago.
0-1 to Moreno. Flanagan back, breaking ball down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Pirates have used Jim Bibby, Don Robinson, Grant Jackson, and Kent Singleton. And the Orioles, Scott McGregor, Tim Stoddard, and now Mike Flanagan. The 2-1 pitch on the way. Fastball is hit up the middle for a base hit. Here comes Garner coming to the plate. Bumbry's throw is offline, and there's a big run. Pirates lead 3-1, and wouldn't you know, the man who was so quiet throughout the series drives in a pivotal run in the 9th inning. Omar Moreno, and Weaver going back to bring in somebody else.
Going back down to his bullpen to bring in his right-hander.
So Phil Garner, who doubled a left, comes home on Moreno's single.
He's bringing Stanhouse in now.
For Omar Moreno, that's his 3rd run batted in. Moreno with 3 hits tonight, so he's suddenly come alive. He has 11 hits and 31 at-bats, and that'll do it for Mike Flanagan. And for the 2nd time in the series, the Pirates have 9 hits. In all of the other games, 5 of them, they hit in double figures. Here in the 9th inning at Baltimore, the Pirates are leading the Orioles 3-1. Don Stanhouse, who was the losing pitcher in Game 2, you might remember, he surrendered that base hit to Manny Sanguian. That knocked in the winning run and gave the Pirates a split in the 2 games here and gave Pittsburgh a 3-2 victory. Stanhouse, in his 3rd game, he only worked 2 innings, and he is 0-1. He'll be pitching to Tim Foli. Dave Parker comes after Foli. But the Orioles still have their bullpen working hard, and they can always go down and bring in the left-hander Tippy Martinez to pitch to Parker if they desire. One thing, we're still waiting for Omar Moreno to run.
Well, you're going to see it now because they've invited him bringing in Stanhouse the right-hander, and I'll guarantee you Omar is going to take off. And Omar said to himself when he got down on first, I watched him, he kept watching Flanagan, who was backing up behind the plate, Ben. He said, you can have all those other strikeouts. That 1 hit is all I wanted for the series off of you.
That's right. It was a big one. Moreno singled up the middle against Mike Flanagan after Flanagan had just tied him into knots the last time they met each other. So 3-1 Pittsburgh in the 9th, and here's Tim Foli. Sacrifice, robbed of a hit by Garcia. Belanger is playing short now. Tim lined out and hit into a force play. So Foli is 0 for 3, and Moreno taking his lead against right-hander Don Stanhouse. Stanhouse, right foot on the rubber. Eddie Murray holding the bag on Moreno. Stanhouse off the rubber. We've been looking for the Pirates to steal a base ever since the anthem ended in Game 1. And they're 0 for 4. Throw to first. Moreno diving back to the bag.
And I'm surprised Stanhouse was just talking the day before yesterday about a bad back was bothering him.
And here he is in the 9th inning tonight. Don checking with Dempsey. Foley waiting. Moreno off the bag. And a throw over there, and again Omar diving back. So time called by Bob Engel while Moreno dusts himself off. He looks like he's been working under an old car. So timeout. 3 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Pirates. 1 run, 4 hits, 2 errors for Baltimore. To look ahead, in the bottom of the 9th, the Birds are due to send up Gary Renicky, Doug DeCinces, and Rick Dempsey. Stanhouse thinking over his pitches. Now he's set, looks at Moreno, double checks and throws over there. And Omar back in again. I remember Will's telling us, you don't realize how many times diving back to the bag and how many heavy-handed tags by a first baseman, how much that eventually takes out of a runner.
Oh, it wears you out, and that's the thing about a base stealer. That's why usually they lose a couple years off their career.
Moreno inching off the bag. Now Stanhouse set. Don ready and comes overhand, fastball high, ball 1. It's one thing to be a base stealer and then go out to center field and kind of relax a little bit. It's another to be a Joe Morgan or a Maury Wills and have to play your head off defensively around the bag.
That's what makes it so tough. You got to go right back out there, and you're going to be involved in so many more plays.
1-0, the count to Foley. The last time Foley was up there in the 7th inning, he waited forever for Moreno to try to steal, and he never did. They had a lengthy conversation after Foley made the last out of the inning. He's not going, and Tim swings, doesn't get it. 1-1.
Tim said, I'll give you enough pitches. I'm swinging.
1-1. The count to Tim Foley. Dempsey settling in a crouch, looking over. I don't know if he's looking over the Pirate dugout.
He just told him running.
Oh, I see. He's been staring over there as if to say, go ahead, turn him loose. Moreno off the bag. Stanhouse set. Moreno takes his lead. Stanhouse watching him. He's not going, and the pitch is right down the pipe.
Foley's getting a little disturbed up there because Foley's giving him every opportunity.
I can't believe Moreno in this series. 1-2 the count.
Moreno just looked down to Foley and told him with his hands, I just can't get the jump.
1 ball and 2 strikes. And, of course, Foley with 2 strikes, that's enough taking now. It's all over. He's got to battle for his life up there at the plate. See if Dempsey calls a pitch out now, 1-2. 1 out in the 9th, 3-1 Pittsburgh. Another throw to first just to get Moreno a little dirtier. Stanhouse up on top. Moreno off the bag. Stanhouse reaches in the mitt. Now set. Moreno goes. And the pitch to Foley is a hit-and-run drive up the alley in left center. And it's going to drop. Belanger fooled Moreno and held him at second momentarily. And Omar now goes to third. I'll tell you one thing. For a fellow who stole 77, and I'm using the word advisedly, he's a little timid.
Yeah, I'm surprised because you would think he'd just go anyway just to show off a little bit because of all the base he stole.
I guess it's the fact that Moreno is just a youngster playing in a World Series, and it's a heavy spotlight. Well, it's just not working for Earl Weaver. He brings in Mike Flanagan to pitch, and Moreno singles. He brings in his right-hander Stanhouse, and Foley singles, and now he gets Parker.
And he brings on Tippy Martinez.
And the Pirates, 6 times in 7 games, have hit in double figures. 10 hits tonight, 9 hits in the 1 game they missed, which is shocking when you realize how good the Baltimore pitching staff is. Well, Tippy Martinez has been assigned the job of getting it. And Dave Parker, a very quiet 0 for 4, popped up, grounded out, and struck out twice, which is a tribute to Scott McGregor, who got him all 4 times. McGregor pitched a great ball game, allowing only 2 runs. The problem was the Orioles haven't hit. They haven't hit at all, really, and they could get him only 1. So Dave Parker with first and third, 1 out. The Oriole infield is back in double play depth. The outfield is deep. A big gap in left center field. Martinez delivers. Fastball swung on and missed, and it was a blur inside under the hand.
You have to give this Pirate Ball Club a lot of credit. They were down 3-1, have to face Flanagan, Palmer, and McGregor, and here they are leading in the ball game in the 9th inning, 3-1, and still got men on.
I remember we were talking about it was like climbing the Rockies to be able to beat those three, and they're on their way to doing it, barring a ninth-inning uprising from Baltimore. Strike one pitch, breaking ball on the outside corner, strike two. So Tippy Martinez buzzed him inside for a strike with the hard stuff, came back breaking ball, and he has Parker 0-2. Marino down the line from third. DeCinces bluffs into the bag. Tim Foli at first, held on by Eddie Murray. Tippy hands it aside. Parker waiting. And the strike two pitch to Dave. Hit him just under the ribs. So he tried to get a fastball inside and got it too far inside, and the bases are loaded for Bill Robinson. So you talk about Earl Weaver's magic, it has disappeared. In the last few games, just about every move has turned out the wrong way. Earl's going back out to the mound again. And his moves here in the ninth inning, none of them work. But, of course, that's it. All you can do is make the move, then it's up to the ball player.
I've always said that, there's never been a manager in the history of the game of baseball or a coach in any field of any sport that has won anything. It's the players. And if you ever think that you've won anything, you're only kidding yourself.
Earl Weaver taking the ball now from Tippy Martinez. So it has been such a frustrating game and such a frustrating last few days for Baltimore. And it's capped by a ninth inning where every move turns sour. Garner opened up with a double, and Jacoby unable to bunt him over. Then they brought in Flanagan to pitch to the left-hand hitting Marino, and Marino singled in the run. So they brought in Stanhouse to the pitch to the right-hand hitting Foley, and Foley singled. So then they brought in the left-handed Tippy Martinez. Weaver taking the ball now from Tippy Martinez. So it has been such a frustrating game and such a frustrating last few days for Baltimore, and it's capped by a ninth inning where every move turns sour. Garner opened up with a double, and Jacoby unable to bunt him over. Then they brought in Flanagan to pitch to the left-hand hitting Marino, and Marino singled in the run. So they brought in Stanhouse to the pitch to the right-hand hitting Foley, and Foley singled. So then they brought in the left-handed Tippy Martinez to pitch to Parker, and he hits him 0-2. So they're back to the right-handers again with Bill Robinson coming up. Dennis Martinez coming in, and remember, Dennis now is the fifth pitcher to be used in the ninth inning. But now it's the ninth inning of the final game. Pirates leading 3-1, and they're trying to break it wide open. Give Jacoby a big cushion to lean on. Marino is at third. Foley is at second. Parker at first with one out. Eddie Murray is up in front of Parker. Everybody else is back. And Dempsey going out to talk to Dennis Martinez. Willie Stargell is on deck.
How would you like to, even if they get Robinson out here without anybody scoring, I say if. You got to look at Big Willard coming up next. Willie just will nail you again.
And there are no more left-handers around. Dennis Martinez is heating up and looks in to get a sign. And Bill Robinson at the plate. Martinez out of a stretch. Dennis set. And the pitch to Bill Robinson inside and hit something. I guess it hit the bat. No, it hit him. He's going to be awarded first base. Bill Robinson hit by the pitch, and everybody moves up 90 feet. Marino will score, and it's 4-1 Pittsburgh. And Robinson looking at Tanner as if to say, well, if this what happens when you hit against right-handers, you let Milner play.
Yeah, that ball just took off inside. He tried to get way in deep on him, and the ball just ran on him.
So Bill Robinson, after Parker was hit by a pitch, Robinson is hit by a pitch. Marino scores. That run is charged to Flanagan. And Robinson is unable to keep going. He drops to his knees. He's 36 years old. And evidently, I don't know whether it's the pitch that hurt him or in going back that he twisted his knee. But he is very gingerly being helped to his feet. And now he is walking down the line with Tony Barterome, and evidently he'll be okay.
Knowing Robbie, he told Charlie, he said, look, I want to stay in here. I want to be on this field when this game ends.
So Robinson is at first. Parker is at second. Foley at third, and the ball game has kind of unraveled as far as Baltimore is concerned. The Birds led with a run in the third inning, 1-0, going into the sixth. Stargell hit one out with a man aboard to make it 2-1 Pittsburgh. Baltimore had one golden opportunity. Bases loaded, 2 out in the eighth, but Eddie Murray flied to right field. And now in the ninth, the Pirates have scored 2, and they might get a whole sackful as Stargell climbs in. Bases loaded, 1 out. Martinez delivers. Fastball swung on and missed, 0-1. When you know how tough it is to get here, if you are Stargell and you're a realist and you're 38, you know this might be your last World Series at bat.
And that swing he took, I think he was thinking the same thing. He wanted to make it 4 more.
0-1 the count. Dennis Martinez delivers. Fastball grounded foul outside of first and down the line. 0-2.
Benny, I think this, though, has been a question of, they were down 3-1, but they just continued to beat the whole series. They've beaten on the Baltimore pitching. When you get 80-something hits against their pitching staff, you know you got a ball club with great offense.
Yeah, no matter what Baltimore seems to do, Pittsburgh continues to throw punches, and now they finally worn them down and broken through. Leading 4-1. Dennis Martinez checking with Rick Dempsey. Stargell waiting. Martinez on and off the rubber. Dennis back up on top. Right-hander out of a stretch, and the strike 2 pitch to Stargell with the bases loaded is a shot foul. I'll tell you one thing, Al Monchak, the first base coach, has got to believe Wilbur is about 23.
Yeah, because I tell you what, it ain't fair that a man hits the ball as hard as he does and supposed to be 38 years old. Willie's been telling stories. He's not near that old, about 10 years left.
0-2 the count to Willie Stargell. Wilbur Darnell Stargell, who has hit all 3 of the Pirate home runs in the World Series. 7 runs batted in, and he's up there now, and the place is set for him at the dinner table with the bases loaded and 1 out. Dennis Martinez checking, right-hander out of a stretch, and the strike 2 pitch to Stargell. Fastball hit over the mound, down to short. Belanger on the bag for 1 and doubles in the first. So Stargell hits into the double play, but not before Pittsburgh gets 2. And at the end of 8 1/2, Pittsburgh 4, Baltimore 1. Bottom of the 9th inning, and the record playing in the background tells the story. It's now or never. And this crowd here in Baltimore would appear to have lost a little heart. There's not quite the enthusiasm that there was up to now, but they're going to try.
It's a little hard for them to get that OR out. Before everybody was screaming it, now they don't quite believe it as strong.
It is 4-1 Pittsburgh. And of course, for a ball club that has been completely stopped offensively, it's hard to think that Baltimore is going to get off the ground and get at least 3 in the 9th inning to stay alive and tie it. However, stranger things have happened.
I know one thing, Benny. I'm surprised the President of the United States is sitting right there. He still believes that there's a chance.
Gary Renicky will start it off against Ken Singleton. 4-1 Pittsburgh in the 9th. Remember the great book and the movie, The Last Hurrah? Well, it's that time now in Baltimore. Singleton's fastball inside. Ball 1, 1-0. Singleton trying to nail it down. The right-hander ready, and the 1-0 pitch to Renicky. Sinker for a strike. 1-1. Singleton trying to save this one for Grant Jackson. Scott McGregor would be the losing pitcher, and a tennis ball bounces out onto the field for timeout. 53,733 here tonight. One ball and 1 strike. Renicky, right-hand hitting outfielder. The 1-1 pitch swung on and missed. 1-2. Renicky hit for Lowenstein in the 7th inning and struck out. Gary has 2 hits for 15 at-bats. And here's a fellow who hit 25 home runs during the regular season. Jacoby squints in to get the sign. 1-2 pitch. Got him swinging. One away. And Renicky, like most of Baltimore, a picture of frustration as he walks away from the plate. Here's Doug DeCinces, the right-hand hitting third baseman. 2 for 3. Singled up the middle in the second. Singled up the middle in the fifth. Slide to center in the seventh. I'm Vin Scully along with Sparky Anderson. Hope you've enjoyed the ride for the 7 games in the World Series. As DeCinces climbs in, Jacoby ready and delivers. Fastball in there for a strike. 0-1.
Oh, it's nice to have a 4-1 lead with 1 out and have Jacoby out on the mound.
Boy, I should say. Jacoby had one rocky day in Pittsburgh when he had the ball come up to the left-hand hitters. Otherwise, money in the bank. Strike 1 pitch. In there again. Looked like a little cut slider on the inside part of the plate.
Yeah, he's just rocking now and saying, hit me if you can.
0-2 to DeCinces. DeCinces yesterday struck out to end the game against Jacoby. 0-2 to Doug. Jacoby nods yes. Into the windup. Here he comes. Chased and missed, and down he goes, just like yesterday, when after that pitch, way outside, and the city of Baltimore starting to think more about the Colts.
Charlie's saying right now, my troops came back when they were 3-1 down. I knew they wouldn't quit, and that's the one thing I said. They had to beat. Flanagan had to beat them. If he didn't, I've known Charlie too long. His ball club, you let him off the ground and look out.
And, of course, there are those people who will always spend the rest of the winter chewing over several decisions, one of which was the decision to have Flanagan go when they were leading 3-1 rather than give him the extra day's rest. There were quite a few of the Pirates who were quite surprised that Flanagan did go that day. Winners tell jokes and losers cry deal.
Oh, they cry deal.
Here's Pat Kelly hitting for Rick Dempsey. He hits a fly ball to center. Omar Moreno is there, and the Pittsburgh Pirates are the champions of the world. They were down 3-1, and they came back to beat Baltimore. And a discouraged, disappointed, and dispirited band of Orioles that won 102 games during the regular year go back. And the Pittsburgh Pirates go home champions.
The thing that I was so pleased, Chuck Cannon did not go to the mound to congratulate. He went right over to his people at Pittsburgh. And I think Chuck was saying at that moment, Mama, I did it for you.
Yes, having lost his mother just a couple of days ago, the bittersweet feeling of his team winning a championship. But it's all over. And Sparky, I guess, and it's not a hindsight, but going in you had the feeling that Pittsburgh was a better ball club than Baltimore. What degree better remains to be seen, but they were, if you want to use the adjective, a slightly better ball club.
Well, they're an awesome team, and they're a team that when you get them in a series, a short series, to beat them, you just have to have everything go perfect. Over a long haul, you might be able to hold them in, but they're an awesome attack, and once they get their attack going, believe me, they just run over people. They don't even take no prisoners at all.
It would not be a surprise, but the winner of Major League Baseball and Sport Magazine's World Series Most Valuable Player Award is, altogether, Wilbur Dorno Stargell. He was selected by a panel of media experts, and he's the oldest man to ever win this award in the 25 years that Sport Magazine has given it. Congratulations to Stargell. We'll continue our wrap-up in just a moment. For the Pirates, 4 runs, 10 hits, and no errors. For Baltimore, 1 run, 4 hits, and 2 errors. The winning pitcher, ironically, the former Oriole, who comes back in a Pittsburgh uniform, Grant Jackson. He didn't pitch that long. He pitched 2 2/3 innings, and he got the win. The losing pitcher, Scotty McGregor, who worked 8 great innings, allowed only 2 runs, but it was 1 too many. He suffers the defeat. So hail to Pittsburgh, the champions of the world, and to the Baltimore Orioles, nice try, and there's always next year. Sparky, sure was fun being with you.
Well, it's always nice to work with the all-time pro, and I really appreciate it, and that helped me for my managing next year. Maybe we can move up a little.
I know one thing. I'm going to miss you now that you're over in the American League. Good luck.
Thank you, Vinny.
Well, there you have it, friends. The Pittsburgh Pirates have defeated the Baltimore Orioles by a score of 4-1, and they are the 1979 World Champions. We'll return with our post-game activities with Win Elliott talking to some of the stars of the game, as well as the managers in 1 minute. For Sparky Anderson, this is Ben Scully, CBS Radio Sports.